Hey, how's it going, man? Ronin Man here. Hey, we are fucking. The crew is here in Atlanta, Georgia, and I want everybody to give a little shout out there.
What's up, man? This is Shawn.
Hey,
Hey, it's chime time.
all right, guys, and Stingray's over there somewhere in his room, hopefully coming over. But listen, I wanted to just kind of throw in a bunch of stuff out. A lot of shit's going on, and this morning was the funniest story. I thought you guys. I was going to tell the story to these guys, and they're like, record it. So I'm like, okay, I'll tell the story. I record it. All right, so this is fucking crazy. Life is just too crazy, right? So one day, back in the 90s, I was in Japan, and I used to go to this AA meeting at the Franciscan Chapel Center, right? That's where they had most of the meetings. So it was just a normal Saturday, and I was going to a meeting, and I got to the parking lot, and it was the weirdest fucking scene I've ever seen in my life. There was all these Japanese Yakuza, like tons of them. And this is in the day when Yakuza were still Yakuza, right? Like they still dressed like Yakuza. They had a certain look. They were very flashy. They all had Cadillacs and shit. And they had real flashy clothes, like real fucking, you can talk and laugh and shit as I go, right? Don't worry about it. Right? So, don't hold back, right? So I'm looking, and these guys got the big punch brims, the big fucking sunglasses. I mean, like, if you never know old school Yakuza, you would laugh when you saw this scene, because it's quite, almost like humorous, like the way they used to dress. It was real flashy, right? Like, out of control flashy, right? But the thing is, this is the 90s, and it was kind of dying down by then, so it was kind of strange to see all these guys, like, fully pimped out big time, all the cars, all down the street was these Yakuza cars. And there was these guys, and so I got there, and when I got to the church, there's all these white guys there, and it's white guys and Yakuza, which is a very weird combination, right? And they're all hugging each other and crying, and like hugging each other big time, like everybody's just hugging each other, like real hugs, right? And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, I know Japan pretty well, and this is not normal, right? I could not figure out what the fuck was going on. This is public, and so. Anyway, I didn't know what was going on. So I walked up, and we had our meeting in the third story in the library. So when you go to the second story, you pass the main, what's that called, like the church, where the minister or whatever the pulpit. Yeah, where like the pulpit is and stuff, like where all the pews are and stuff, like the main Catholic church, thing where they do the service, right? So anyway, we passed that room, the sanctuary. Yeah, we passed sanctuary, and I'm coming up the stairs. And there's just these fucking hardcore Yakuza, right? Now, generally, Yakuza are dangerous, And so, you definitely don't catch eyes with them. It's not that they're going to kill you or anything. But back then, they were serious. The Yakuza were very serious. And anybody who was long-term in Japan, you understood that it was not a joke. You had to take it seriously. But they were like, I was coming up the stairs, and this fucking guy just opens his arm, gives me a big hug. Now, I could not figure out what the fuck was going on. Like, I literally was like, I just was totally, totally baffled by this whole thing. So anyway, I just walked up. I took the hug, right? And I'm like, all right. Like, obviously some fucking guy died. I could tell it was a funeral, right? But I didn't know what was going on. So anyway, I went up to the meeting, did the meeting, came downstairs. Everything was gone. Everybody was gone. So I never knew what I kind of had, what that was. I never knew. So then I got this book, Tokyo Underworld. And it's a book about this guy, Nick Zappetti, who was a American GI after the war, and he basically started one of the main taxi companies in Japan. He's basically a mafia dude from the States, right? Mafia family, mafia background. So he started doing basically he's probably the only American gangster ever in Japan, really. I mean, there was some fake gangsters and shit. There were some guys who joined the Yakuza. I mean, not that they're not. They were usually born in Japan. There was a few either half white guys or white guys. There was a couple of white guys. I remember one white guy back in the early 90s that was definitely Yakuza, and he was a white guy. And I could tell, I could just right away. Back then you knew, right? You just look at that kid. I was like, what the fuck? What is he doing here? I never heard about him. I don't think he was famous. But anyway, so Nick Zappetti, he started the first real Italian restaurant in Japan too. And it was like a greeting a place for Yakuza. And the book, Tokyo Underworld, is fucking fantastic. Okay, the guy who wrote it, Robert Whiting, I've read all his books. He's a great writer, which is a rare combination, because you got a great writer and a fantastic story, right? It's like a really unique story, because Robert Whiting just happened to be in Japan and that he was a great writer, which is, again, an unusual combination. Most writers that are in Japan are they encounter real cool situations, but they just don't have any talent for writing. So the books are worth reading, but they're just not. They don't have the whole package, right? Robert Whiting has everything, right? So he writes about baseball. There's another book he wrote, You Gotta Have Wa, which is a good book. You'll enjoy it. But there's a couple of really funny scenes. That's why I mentioned Cromartie yesterday, because Cromartie's stories in there is pretty funny. But anyway, back to Tokyo Underworld. So I read the book, and I'm just reading the book, and I'm like, this is the fucking best book I've ever read. This is great, right? I'm really enjoying it. And then suddenly it dawned on me. He talked about the funeral at the Franciscan Chapel Center. And I'm like, holy shit. I said, when was that? I check it out. The day he died is all public, right? It was the funeral and everything. It was a Saturday afternoon. And that was when the meeting was. It was Saturday afternoon, because I used to go to afternoon meetings like 3:30 and 4:30. So I stumbled into fucking Nick Zappetti's wedding, a funeral. I just stumbled in there and it was like, oh, it was the fucking weirdest thing. But if you read the book, you'll know why this is like such an intense story, because it's such a unique fucking situation. This guy, I love it. I don't know if this is worth recording. I don't know if you guys are going to get it. You guys are not reacting like you're getting it.
No,
it was
listening, man.
Dude, it was just...
I'm doing yoga over here.
Oh, okay.
But is it because you're white and this guy, Nick Zappetti, was
Yeah,
white?
I can relate to this guy.
And
yeah.
They probably just thought that you knew him, or...
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
And
They thought I was a friend of his. Yeah. So everybody's like, they're just like hugging me and shit, right? And the thing is I'm kind of like I definitely am out of the box kind of guy, in many ways, right? And so, don't tell my whole story here on Ronin Man, but you know what I mean? Like, I could relate to him, Like, he got fucked over, too. Yeah. Everything he made was stolen. So everything that he built was either destroyed or stolen by other people, right? Yeah. And so he was real resentful. Yeah. And also, he was from another time in Japan, too. So, the new movement where they're tearing down the statues, they wouldn't like this guy because he's not perfect. You know what I mean? This Italian dude, he was not perfect in any way. Not to mention, he was a fucking mafia guy who probably did a lot of things that were unacceptable in today's society. But in many ways, he was a relic of the past. Yeah. And I'll tell you something interesting about this guy. Is quite interesting, which a lot of people will not like reality. They don't like reality in general. People don't, but I do. I'm always interested in how things change. But what's interesting when I read the book is it was very obvious to me that his generation, like he came in 1945, right? Or whatever, back then, like in the very beginning when Japan first opened up, right? And I didn't realize this because I came to Japan like later, right? And so when I came to Japan was already like a world-class place.
Is that what y'all was talking about yesterday when he was saying... If y'all would have came a little bit earlier, it would have been a different.
Oh, we were just it would have been different, but we were just talking about a few years.
Okay.
We're talking decades.
Early. Okay.
We're talking like a completely different Japan. There was no factories. There was no Toyota. There was no Nissan. Yeah. They were seen as. I didn't even realize this. So you don't even as a human being, you only know your time, right? Yeah. How you're seen, right? But back then, when I read the book, it was obvious to me that his generation looked down on Japanese. Like, they were over there, the Americans were rich. Yeah. And so the GIs were, worshipped, in a way. Because in some ways, they had saved Japan.
Saved them. Yeah.
Yeah, so they had brought, peace and prosperity, right? So they saw them almost as third world. Well, they were third world. They were dirt poor. They had nothing, right? They had, literally nothing, left after the war. And so... his generation, in the book, when I read it, was very interesting for me because I came with deep respect for Japan.
Right.
So, when I came to Japan, and the reason why I'm not going to Japan now is because, essentially, I came to Japan because of the great men of Japan. So if you ever watched the movie or TV show, whatever it is called, whatever it is, it's the Men Who Built America?
Yes.
The Rockefeller, those guys.
Yes.
The JD, those guys, I like those kind of guys. Mm-hmm. I respect those kind of guys, and no matter what country they're from. Mm-hmm. And I went to Japan.
Pioneers.
The pioneer, fucking. Of course, they're doing illegal things too, right? These are the guys who make stuff happen, right?
Yeah.
And those guys in Japan were like, they were Akio Morita, and Shoichiro Honda. These were the guys who built Japan.
Yeah.
Right. And I had read about them in school. I studied Japanese, a lot of Japanese business in the 80s when I went to school.
Yeah.
Right. 83, I finished high school. So Japan was going up big time. All we read about was Japan. And I saw these powerful men who built this, from nothing, the country.
Yeah.
And I went to Japan. I've never actually said this, but this is actually my, everybody has their own, you get your own private mind, right? Your own private world. I actually really respected
this. This is what drove you.
Yeah. Like those guys like Rockefeller, they never did nothing for me. They didn't, they just didn't, they just were, I like people that get shit done, but it was too far away. It was too, I don't know, it was just too, I don't know what it was. I just didn't, there was no emotional connection. But the Japanese guys, because the thing is like Honda, right? He used to ride his bicycle behind, get this, he used to ride his fucking bicycle behind American airplanes that were bombing him. Okay, so get this. The plane is going over his head and everybody's running away. Shoichiro Honda is riding his bicycle behind the plane. The reason is to get bombed, but the reason is the Americans, back then there was jet fuel was like liquid. What they used plane fuel, it was in cans, like a gas can.
Yeah.
So when they finished, when they poured the gas into the plane as they're flying, they would have an empty can, which was extra weight. So they would throw it out of the plane to get rid of it, to get rid of the weight. And apparently they were heavy, right? And he would get the cans and take them and melt them down to make a motor.
Wow.
Because there was no steel in Japan.
That's bananas.
Yeah. That's a motherfucker
That's
right there. That's my kind of guy.
Yeah.
Like, is he's fucking riding his motherfucking bicycle while he's being bombed, and because his factory was bombed and destroyed. So the only way he can rebuild his factory and make motors is to get these gas cans while he's being bombed. This is pretty much like my childhood. I can relate to this. I can really fucking relate to this guy. I thought this is a fucking stubborn, fucking brave motherfucker,
Or just determined to succeed.
Determined. Oh, fuck yeah.
No matter, he's just determined to succeed no matter what.
He's gonna make it happen. He's gonna somehow do it, right? Yeah. He's not gonna sit there and fucking hide in the rice fields, right? So when these kind of guys really turned me on, man. I was like, fuck yeah. I was like, I want to go to Japan. I want to meet these guys, And it's the saddest thing ever is that I never met any of them. But what's even sadder is I was so close because I was hanging out with a guy whose uncle was the vice president of General Electric. And I was in a shitty band. I was a real shitty musician. But
these guys were still alive?
They were still alive.
Okay.
Yeah. So he wrote Akio Morita, the founder of Sony, wrote a book, The Japan That Can Say No. And it's considered a very racist book, by most people. But I loved the book because I thought Japan standing up, I knew that it was a little bit of a race. I knew that, But at the same time, I was proud of him standing up. Like, you got to stand up in life, And Morita was a very, nationalistic Japanese person. And actually, his sons were not. His sons were the opposite. His sons were very international and open because they grew up all over the world as his father succeeded, right? So even in the same family, you got different people, right? Different perspectives, right? You were telling me about your dad, right? Yeah. This is kind of, Morita was like this. Morita was from the generation where they thought, basically, Japanese blood is pure. We are better. We will win. Like, it was a very racist. Yeah. And it goes to the heart of kind of the far right in Japan, and the Uyoku, which is the guys, basically essentially the deep state of Japan, or the dark deep state of Japan.
Some value in that, you know what I mean?
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
To hold, some value in being almost like nationalist like that, because that's kind of what like drives you forward in the beginning. Is that deep sense of us,
right?
Them.
Right. And that's the way Morita was, right?
Yeah.
Akio Morita was like that. If you read the book, The Japan That Can Say No, you definitely. I don't know if it's worth reading now, but I would say it's probably not worth reading. But maybe you want to watch a review of it or something on YouTube or something. But anyway, I bought a hard copy of that book, and everybody with my friends said, "Don't buy that book. That's a racist book against you." And I'm like, even Japanese people told me that, and I'm like, I love that book because it's exactly what you said. Shawn, that's what you said, is I respected the fact that, sometimes when you're coming from nowhere, coming from nothing, you need to hold on to, you need to go through stages, And I think Japan was so destroyed and so humiliated that they kind of needed that, it's kind of like the guy who is very insecure, so he walks in a bar and just beats everybody up because he's just somebody says one bad thing about him and he just starts fucking throwing bottles and because he's trying to or in prison, right? It's like he's so scared in prison that he does something to show that he's not to be fucked with, right?
Almost like you overcompensating.
Overcompensate.
Yeah.
But it's a necessary stage for some people and for some countries, right?
Or even how you said, I heard one time you were saying that, I guess in MGTOW, sometimes people will have the rage, what I mean, in the beginning. Right. And then they gotta kind of counterbalance it out over time. But you're real mad in the beginning when you first get red pilled, I guess. Oh,
okay. I think so. I think that basically anger is a natural emotion. Yeah. And men, we are basically told we're not supposed to have our emotions. Yeah. Because you should be angry if somebody fucks you over. Yeah. If somebody's passively aggressively attacking you, targeting you, it should make you angry. Yeah. It is not something that is your defense. That is the red flag that comes up, your anger, that tells you something needs to change. Yeah. You know what I mean? For example, they keep raising the price of the newspaper or whatever, and then you're angry, and then you're like, I'm going to cancel that thing. Because it's the warning that something's not right. That the anger is just a kind of it's not something to last. It's just something to tell you something's wrong. Yeah. When you finally get angry, it's like, you can be kind of unhappy about a few things. Maybe the coffee's a little bit not so hot in the restaurant, or they're a little bit slow. But if something makes you angry, it's like, wait a second, this is something that I need to pay attention to for a second. It's not. It's just something to. It's a natural something. When you take away a man's ability to feel a base emotion that protects him, that kind of is his almost signpost, that tells him fuck, this cannot happen. I'm sure it's this way with fathers and sons, is when the son is just really, when you see the son going down the wrong road, the father's going to get angry because he's going to be like, no, not, I'm talking about a healthy father. Yeah. It's because he sees it and it's just it's too important, his son. Yeah. You just can't let him. We can get angry, right? So it's a natural emotion. He's, obviously it doesn't. There are many expressions of this, but this is your natural thing, right? So anyway, back to these guys. They built Japan, and so that Nick Zappetti guy, obviously, he hated people like me. Because in the book he mentioned, and that's why I really like the book. The book, Tokyo Underworld, is it's a tour de force. I mean, you should fucking read this book. It's a great book. There's two great books, and one of them is that one, and Tokyo Underworld. And the other one is The Cult at the End of the World. That's a fucking great book, too. About the Om Shinrikyo that gassed the Tokyo subways. That is a great book. That is a fucking just fascinating book about cults, about mind control, about you just can't. That book is just it's absolutely just puts the fear of God in you. That book is so scary. Actually, the Cult at the End of the World. They recruited the smartest people in Japan. They brainwashed the smartest people, get them in the cult, and these guys. They were making a nuclear bomb. They were making cyanide. They were making guns, and they were actually the original, I forgot the guy's name, but there was a guy who had a theory in the 1800s that the atom could be split and that large amounts of energy would be released, which is the guy who basically envisioned nuclear energy and nuclear bombs, right? He had two theories, actually. One theory was that you could split the atom and it would release a lot of energy. And the second theory he had was that you could take a standard radio wave and split the Earth in two and destroy all life by using the same physics that an ocean wave gets bigger and bigger as it goes across the ocean and more powerful, right? Is that he said you could take a standard radio wave, point it at the Earth in a certain way, and create in the dirt could create a radio wave that would get bigger and bigger and become a large wave and split the Earth in two. And they were doing that. That cult had they listened to that theory because they're real smart guys, and they had smart in some ways, right? They were brainwashed, right? They had a radio wave pointing at the Earth, trying to split the Earth in two. And these were smart enough people to do it, because splitting the atom was not that difficult once you had the technology. So that guy. This is scary stuff, right? That book is frightening, man. It's fucking, because it's one thing to have a cult of dumb people, right. But the cult of the smartest Japanese people is scary as hell. Because these motherfuckers are smart, right? They're fucking smart and they're diligent, right? You set them on an evil task. Holy shit. I don't want to give away other parts of the book, but there's a time bomb essentially that they released in Tokyo of a microorganism that could one day wake up and basically kill everybody in Tokyo. So anyway, there's a lot of things you got to read about. It's very interesting, but I don't want to give away a lot of it. But great book. But anyway, so I just want to start with that, and then I know that Shawn and I last night were talking about doing an episode, so let's just get right into it. Hit me with what you were going to say, and then we'll just.
Oh, what, like yesterday?
Yeah.
Oh, how it was started?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I was saying that I had never met anyone that connected to my lifestyle the way that you did. And I guess from what we were talking about yesterday, we were talking about my dad was telling me that I needed to get married yesterday. Yeah. Fucking random as fuck.
Okay, stop that part. So you're serious about that, right? You really listen to videos and you're like, fuck this guy.
Oh yeah.
Don't bullshit. Like, what is
okay.
Any specifics or anything that you want to say, like, so they understand what you're talking about.
Okay, so for me, I've always pretty much been an entrepreneur. So, I think a lot of people, when I listen to, their stories, it's kind of, I was this way and then I went that way. Well, for me, it was I was always kind of this way, and the problems that I faced were problems of me not understanding what the other way was like, and then kind of running into people who, because I didn't have that paradigm, I couldn't understand their point of view. You know what I mean? And then I would always get tripped up because since I don't understand you, I don't really understand what you will. I don't really understand what you'll do or what you won't do. I'm just kind of like la 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 going along, so I can resonate with.
Right. Okay, let me say. So what he's talking about there, because we talked a lot yesterday and the day before. Basically, what he's talking about there is essentially. The background is that tell me if you agree, but basically a lot of people are living shitty lives, right? They work for shitty companies in shitty jobs, and they want to start a company, so they want to be an entrepreneur, right? Yeah. And now, being an entrepreneur is not the greatest thing in the world. I'm not saying it's just like, you know what I mean? I'm not. In some ways, it sucks, right? It's like I'm not saying like it's something great, but anyway, the people that are slaving away, they regardless. It's just like fucking girls. Like, you can fuck a lot of girls, and this is something else we can talk about. Yeah. But like, and people will get very, very jealous. But actually, in the middle of it, you're like, these fucking girls suck. Like, what the fuck is going on in my life? You can be like completely like, it's not perfect. It's very strange. But people are extremely jealous about stuff like that. Even though if you're actually doing it, if you actually are doing whatever it is, like let's say you read a book about a rock star. And everybody's very jealous of him, but the guy is actually going through a completely different things that you would expect. Because he's in his thing, and everybody's like super fucking jealous of him, and they're trying to destroy him, essentially, right?
Yeah. So okay, so
this is the mic right.
Okay, so in one hand, you're looking at the person saying, "Okay, I'm working my shitty job. I want to be like this person."
Yeah.
And so I'm that person, like right. So and I'm looking at it like, oh man, it must be great to get a check and have a good job and have safety and.
Yeah.
My life's never safe. It's never, I never get to experience, I guess, what would be considered normal. And while this person is like, oh man, this would be so much cooler if I could like kind of be free and X, Y, and Z. I'm looking at them like, man, it would be great if I could just not have shit thrown at me all the time. And this person is like kind of feeling some type of way about you. Envying kind of what they imagine it would be, and I'm living in the reality of like what it is, and I'm kind of like, man, what you think it is not what it is. But on the flip side of that is, it's still great. You know what I'm saying? Like I enjoy it. You know what I mean? It's not something that I want to trade. It's just interesting that all these things are kind of like thrown at me. Because I'm not really understanding that point of view. I don't really, I haven't been in your shoes, so my tribulation in life has come from not being able to kind of like see, kind of what you're always saying you're blindsided. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, so I get blindsided a lot because I'm living in a different type of reality, and then all of a sudden I'm going down the road and then I'm destroyed, by some
attacked again, right?
Yeah.
It's because it's not just because they're jealous. It's because I would say you and I undermine their whole system. That's the problem. It's not that they're jealous. It's like, okay, a guy with a good job, let's say a guy makes a couple $100,000 a year. He's not really that jealous. I mean, it's not that. He's afraid.
For sure.
He's afraid because he knows that you might fuck his wife, right? And he knows that you might fuck his daughter. You knows that you might come in and destroy this perfect system that he has.
But you said
this perfect life.
The episode was like, I'm not even on it like that. I don't even like. I remember one time you were.
No, but you don't mean to. But I mean, your very being.
Okay.
Just your very being. Like she might throw herself out. It can happen. Like. And you just being there, it's kind of like when you put a new animal into a lake, then all of a sudden the whole ecosystem of the lake changes, So that's kind of what it's an invasive species, wow. So you put a new fish in there, and then all of a sudden everything fucking changes, right? And that's what we are in. This is what I think. This is the way I envision it. Is like, think of fish. I always think of, we're animals. So think of, there's always an easy to understand thing. Every time there's a new plant or an invasive we're an invasive species to them. We come into their suburbia or whatever. We're not trying to be. Like the fish in the lake, he's just fucking swimming around.
Yeah.
And eating shit and going to sleep. That's all he's doing. Yeah. The fish is absolutely doing nothing wrong.
Yeah.
But the new fish either has things that will make him succeed or fail. Yeah. But the system doesn't have any defense against him. And also the system is very afraid of this new fish. Like they see the new fish and then they could be very afraid.
Does it threaten the system?
Yeah. It will destroy the system. I mean, it threatens the system. It destroys the system. It can definitely destroy the system. And I think part of like I know for myself is that I can. Yeah, I mean, I know for sure. In my past, I didn't take responsibility for this, but now, like, I can see a girl who's like a very. She's on a track to have a certain kind of life, right? Like a very good girl. And she meets me, and her whole life can change. Like she could be ostracized by her family, You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, it could change everything about her life. And she might not understand. Like, she might like to meet me or whatever, but she might not understand where that's going to lead her. But I know where it's going to lead her from my own experience. Yeah. And now some girls are totally cool with it. Yeah. I mean, a lot of girls, they want change. They're not happy in their glass cage. Yeah. Like, they would like to go and do new things and see, and they're happy. They're willing to accept. But other people are not so robust. They have a good life. They have,
I mean, you have the responsibility of going around and being responsible for what you do to everybody, I guess.
Not exactly, but you should know. You should at least have some self-awareness where you realize the good you can do and the damage you can do. I think, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like even something small, like just think of something like this. You walk up, let's say there's a father, right? And the father is looked up to by his son. So his two sons are there. And say you're a good fighter and the father's kind of being a dick. But let's say you fully just take him down, you just intimidate him, you just fully diss him, like really just not even punching, but like maybe one punch, two punch or whatever, but then you just humiliate him in front of his sons. That causes a lot of damage in the family. Yeah. And it's not necessary. It's not good. Yeah. Even though the guy's wrong. Yeah. You don't want to do that because that's just not good. Like it's good the sons respect their father, right? You know what I'm saying? It's just good. It's just a good thing. Like, even if the guy's not totally respect worthy, it's natural for the and you want to let that fragile ecosystem be. So sometimes I will go in full-heartedly if I sense that it's right. Because like I said, a lot of people are dying to get out of their fucking glass cages. They absolutely can't wait. But there are other ecosystems where I'll say, you know what, that one there, I'm gonna let that one be. Like, I'm like you were saying, like last night we were talking about how you can attenuate, like turn up and down, not like a switch, but like a volume knob, up and down your charisma and stuff. Presence, charisma in a party, depending on the situation. I'll attenuate mine up or down. So, for example, if I'm at a party, and let's say the guy that has the party is not very charismatic. Yes. Okay. Or, but you don't want to take over because you want him to enjoy his party, right?
Yeah, man. I don't want to take your party.
Yeah, you don't want
to take your party over.
Yeah,
man.
So you got to turn it down.
I don't want to steal the show. That happens to me a lot where it's like
I
turn it down.
I know. I know exactly.
I don't want to be I didn't come to do that.
No.
I'm not here to be the center of attention, but I know that if I don't consciously almost like lower myself naturally, if the person is less gregarious than me, I'll naturally kind of fill up the room without even trying to be that way.
And when you're younger, you don't realize the power you have.
Man. Yes, man.
But when you get older, right? And you got to take responsibility once you know. One time I talked about it before. Is I did weddings in Japan as a wedding minister. When I ran out of money, I had to pay my salaries of my employees, and I could make like $4,000 a weekend. So I did weddings, right? And one day I was doing a wedding, and it was a Chinese guy marrying a Japanese girl. And so they wanted me to speak Japanese and Chinese and English in the wedding. And so I busted in English. When it's Chinese, I was doing, Bible verses and prayers in Japanese. I was doing them all. And like all just boom, boom, boom. And the wedding, they were so blown away by what I was doing. Now the bride hadn't even come out yet. This is the very beginning, right? Yeah. So the bride is behind whatever you call it, at the end of the lobby. She's waiting to come out with her dad. And I'm sitting there, and I just did the introduction, and it was so good that the crowd went crazy, and they started clapping and going crazy, and I was like, shut the fuck up! Like, I am not the center of attention here. Yeah. Like, this is the bride's wedding, and this is her day. All your focus on the bride, And it was tough because I think some people were like a little bit pissed off in the audience, but it was like, I don't want that. This is not the time. I don't mind that if it's the time. Yeah. If it's my party, So I think this is a kind of an interesting discussion I've never heard ever in my life. But you needed to take responsibility for your effect on other people, or at least be knowledgeable about it, and so that you don't hurt people without knowing it. Even though there's no reason why you have to turn yourself down. Like like
and that's the mindfuck of it all. In the beginning. Because now you're saying it, I'm starting to be a little bit more conscious of it. But in the beginning, I had no idea this is going on.
I would even ramp it up. Because I'd be like, he's getting jealous. Like, what the fuck? And I would ramp it up.
Yeah.
And then it would get real bad. And then I'd feel bad about myself afterwards. Because I kind of subconsciously knew there was something that was not right. I'm talking about when I was in high school, junior high school.
Yeah.
Especially in high school. I just couldn't. I would see that something was going on. Like a teacher, nobody's listening to him. And I would get the class behind me.
Yeah.
And we would do something like one time this teacher, like he just had no personality, my biology teacher, right? And I was always making everybody laugh, right? And so he goes like this. He was so pissed off at me, the teacher. He grabbed an eraser and just winged it at my head. And I fucking ducked, right? So it goes behind me, bounces off the wall. So I grabbed it and then I went like this. And I went like this, like I was going to throw it at him. And then he ducked. And then I didn't throw it, right? So I did it like 3 or 4 times, and he's like ducking in the front of the room. And the whole class is just going fucking crazy because he had totally done something wrong, right? He had thrown the thing at me real hard too. Like he tried to hit me in the face, with the eraser. I actually wasn't even doing anything wrong. Like when he threw the eraser, that's why the class laughed so much. Because I actually wasn't. I was just like being myself, just having fun, right? And there was nothing particularly bad. But then when I realized when I was making this grown man, like I humiliated the shit out of him. Yeah. So it was these kind of experiences. I realized, okay, it was wrong. I mean, he was more wrong.
Yeah.
You should not violently assault a student.
Yeah.
In class. Sure. And also and literally it was his own. He was a total 3-incher, right? Like I was doing nothing wrong when he said I was probably just joking around, just being a normal high school kid. Like it wasn't like I was doing something big. I remember that day. Yeah. I wasn't doing anything big. But it bothered him. Yeah. Because people were not listening or something. So something in his insecurity came out. And I taught school, so I know. You're very human. See, teachers are very human.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
So this guy was fucking human, right?
Yeah.
And it was funny. I met him later in life. I feel terrible about this. It was terrible. I was driving my motorcycle in college. And I just in the early morning, a Saturday morning or something. And I came up to a street corner, like in another town. And there he was jogging. And he was super friendly with me. Yeah. I guess he considered me a friend or something. I don't know what it was. It was weird. And then I had this helmet. I had a helmet on. I don't know why I had a helmet on because I didn't wear a helmet back then. But for some reason I had a helmet on. And I looked at him and I just drove right past him. I didn't even say hi. I felt bad about it. I didn't know what to say because I was pissed off about that razor day. So
you were still upset?
I was I was a kid, I was confused. I was like 19 or 18 or whatever, and I had like an adults would, I don't know if I was upset or he definitely didn't like me in class. Yeah. And so here he was acting all nice out of class. I think that's what bothered me. Yeah. Because he was acting like my friend when he was jogging. Yeah. And it was just such a shock to me. I guess maybe that's what it was. It threw me off and I didn't know what to do. That's probably what it was. When you're a kid, you just don't know what to do, and then you just act all tough. Actually, what happened was he came at me like super friendly, like he's like, "Hey, Paul," like I'm just like, I was like,
we don't like each other.
I'm like, yeah. Wait a second, what about the eraser day? So, I don't know.
Yeah, let it go.
Yeah.
It just was water under the bridge.
And plus, I was super surprised too because I was in another town, and it was like early morning. And the way he was so friendly, I just like he even recognized me with the helmet on and everything,
So are you saying all that to say that you're responsible for the way that you feel like you can? I don't want to say taunt people, but the way that you can kind of control the situation, and because you're aware of that kind of power, that you have to be responsible to not use it in the wrong.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. And it's the same with any kind of power. So if you're really wealthy, right? Like I have a lot of friends that are really wealthy, and the money. I'm talking like not small money here. I'm talking like real money, like Forbes richest list, right? So that kind of money. What happens around, and the reason why I say that is because it's different. Different amount of money create different kinds of reactions in people. But with that kind of money, what happens is people are almost mesmerized, by that kind of money. Like they become almost like sycophants or drones or slaves or something. There's something deep in the human, I think, psyche that we evolve in groups of 150, right? And there was always one leader. And there's been a lot of studies about this, looking at orangutans and stuff, the way they act in these groups, right? And humans, I think there's this kind of blind. There's something very deep that's going on, and when they're that rich, and the people around them will just throw themselves down in front of them, and I think that if you are a very wealthy person, it's just like any kind of power. It's okay. It's not your fault that they're like this. I mean, it's not. You know what I mean? Like you're not making them do that, and they're not even kind of making themselves do that.
Yeah.
This is something like fucking deep, right? So. You just have to be aware of your effect on people. And if you're honest with yourself, this is what it is just feel your gut. Because if you're honest with yourself, you'll realize there's a place where it's over the line.
For sure.
And you just don't, that is a complicated thing. But if you know your own power and you know the way people react and you know the way you've been before and you know that you felt bad at certain times, analyze those times, think about it, and you'll find a balance.
I feel like that with women sometimes.
Okay.
Where it's like, I don't want to. Okay, I know that I can. At the point that I know I can make you do what I want you to do, it's almost like I don't want to sometimes because I don't want the responsibility of you loving me like that. Sometimes I don't want girls to love, like she's gonna fall all in love with me, and then when she realizes that I can't be with her like she wants me to be, then it's gonna get weird, and then she's gonna hate me. It's almost like I can see this whole thing play out, and I almost don't want to even go down that path, even though I want the sex. And this has been a weird kind of place in life because it's almost like I know that I can make a situation go the way I want it to go, but they're going to blame me in the end. And then I don't want to deal with the guilt of them blaming me and me knowing it's like it's not my fault, but it is my fault. It's like this weird place of I want to be successful in the world, but I don't want to manipulate anybody to get to that success. But it's almost like that's what you got to do almost. It's like you got to play this game of I'm having some type of integrity, but at the same time I'm using this power that I know that I have to move myself forward. And I think a part of me, this is why I feel like I don't just go get millions of dollars, because I don't want to sacrifice this integral part of me that doesn't want to take advantage of people to a certain level. Right. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah. I think I put you in the category, and myself too, of the kind seducer. So yeah, that's what it is. It's right. You know what I'm talking about? You pass up things because how I learned for the first time was I met this girl, and we had a whirlwind few days, and then she called me and she said, "I left my husband. I want to be with you." Like that fast, and she's, "I'm coming to your house." And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, she's coming over, right? And I'm like, oh man, what the fuck is going to happen next? I did not make this happen. I didn't even know she was married. I had no idea what any of this shit, and she just decided. And when she had, of course, women, here's the thing, you guys, when people say, when people often comment on my videos, they'll say, "You would fuck a married one, blah, 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 blah." You don't know who was married or not.
Yeah.
They lie their asses off. You don't fucking know.
Yeah.
And if they tell you that they're married and they're leaving the girl, don't believe a fucking word, right? They're with the guy totally. They're just telling you that so that you will do something. There's so much stuff you don't know.
Yes.
Be careful judging. If you're not very experienced with women, you got to be very careful about judging guys who are, because there's a lot of shit that you don't even know. You might have slept with a bunch of married women without even knowing it.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, that could happen. All that happens all the time.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and so they're not going to tell you unless they think it's beneficial or whatever reason. You know. So anyway, this girl, like, she was coming over my house, and that was the first time I took my power with women seriously, because I just thought, well, I was real. I was like, I don't know, when she was coming over, it took like an hour or two for her to come over, and it was just like, usually I won't let women just come over, right?
Yeah.
But this time I was like, this is, of course you can come over. Like, like, don't worry about it. Just come over, right? And so she was coming over, and the whole time I'm just thinking, holy shit. Like, what am I going to... I was not just thinking about her. I was also thinking, what am I going to do the rest of my life? Because I realized this is going to happen again.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Is people are going to make decisions without even telling me.
Real decisions that are affecting other people. Like your kid. What about her kids? What about the husband?
Oh, this thing affected her whole life after this.
Yeah.
No, she wasn't fucking around. This girl was dead serious. You know, she wanted to be with me. And it was like... And then she wasn't bad. Like, that's the thing.
Yeah.
She was just like... She's like, this is the guy.
Yeah.
I want to be with this guy forever, and I'm going to show it right fucking now. Yeah. So be careful, man. Be careful. Just know that people make these radical decisions, you know. And I feel the same way about this podcast. I motivate people to do things, right? I'll show them that traveling is interesting. I'll show them stuff. But I take it very serious in the sense that, like when Gabe was at the Australian Summit, he was talking about quitting his job.
Yeah.
And he gets paid real well for very little amount of work. And I said, and everybody was like, you know, like everybody, you can listen to it. Everybody was like, yeah, Gabe, you know, do what you want. I was the only guy who was like, don't do that.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Like I said, don't do that because don't do it without thinking, because everyone's jealous of you, Gabe. You make fucking tons of money. You hardly fucking work. Everyone, even us, people see that and they're like, yeah, quit. You know, they don't think deeply about your future.
For sure.
You know, it's not easy to get a job like that. It's not easy to have a situation like that.
For sure.
You know, Gabe's got a killer situation. Fucking, I think he's got to hold on to that at least until he knows what he has.
Yeah.
It's like that song, you don't know what you got till it's gone.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Once you pave over the fucking, you tear down the rainforest and you put Walmarts in, then
it's done.
Then it's done, and then you realize, oh my God, that rainforest was pretty handy, you know. So it's like you got to be careful before you destroy something.
Yeah.
At least you need to know very, very well what you're doing, and you also have to look around you at who's saying what they're saying. And I'm talking about all of us here. Every single person, human on the planet, has things. We're complicated, right? People are. So I've done this before with Gabe was one friend, but there was another friend, Drinking Dave, I did the exact same thing with. He was going to quit his job at Goldman Sachs, and I was the one guy. And I told him, I said, your friends are jealous of you.
Yeah.
And I said, and he was like, no. I said, yes, they are. I said, your friends are jealous of you because you work at Goldman Sachs, you have a 3-story house in Japan, and you get tons of girls, and you have fucking tons of money, and you fucking work at a killer place, and there's fucking hot girls all over the place, and you sleep with all the girls you work with, and you don't get fired because you're such a dirty dog that you somehow get away with it, and you're the fucking man, and everybody, and you're good looking, you know, and you're fucking funny, and you're a good friend, and you're honest, and you're always in a good mood, and you have a nice temperament, and you're like, he had everything. He had a nice beard. He looked fucking good, right? He had everything. Not everything in life, but I mean, he had the whole package.
Yeah.
Drinking Dave had the whole package, and it's like, of course there's going to be a line of guys jealous. And I say that because we all feel these things when you meet somebody who has everything.
Yeah.
The key is that you recognize that you have emotions.
Yeah.
You might have envy over somebody. That's fine.
Yeah.
Just admit it. Just admit it.
Yeah.
You can even admit it to them.
Yeah.
You know, hey, I'm going to be envious of you over this.
Yeah. I do that a lot with my homeboys.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's a
Where
good
it's
thing.
like, man, it's almost like a jokingly, man, hey man, your car, man, I like that car, man. Ooh, man, I want a car like that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's almost like letting the air out of a balloon.
You're letting steam out. You're letting steam out of the pressure cooker.
Yeah, because if I don't acknowledge that I feel some level of envy, and it's not like a envy like a I want to be you. It's
I get
more
it.
of a I like that. I like that. That's man.
Right.
I like your car.
And there's that dark side of envy that is like a little deeper, right? But basically, like you, I can just feel like, at least for me, I know I don't want to go down that road.
Exactly.
And I
don't
fucking
want
do
it.
Yeah.
I don't want your car.
Yeah.
Or I don't. But I appreciate.
Yeah.
I like it. You know what I mean?
And I feel fucking envy.
Yes,
That's it.
yes,
Simple
man.
as that.
Yes, man.
There's nothing else fucking to say.
Yes,
I
man.
feel envy over that car, right?
Yes, man.
And that's it. There's nothing else to say.
And but it's almost like when I do that and I acknowledge it's almost like I can integrate that into myself, and then it doesn't have the sting.
Now here's the funny thing. Is this shit goes deeper than that. Okay, so let's say you're dealing with an emotionally manipulative person in your life, right? And they see that you are envious. Now, if you don't admit it, they're gonna go, "You're envious. You're envious. You're envious." They're gonna try to like dig it in you, right?
Yeah.
Right? But if you say, "God damn, I'm envious of you. The other day I was thinking about it, and I was thinking, man, you fucking good look, whatever the fuck it is," and then you call yourself out.
Yes.
Okay, let's say you do that. The really emotionally manipulative person will hate you even more.
Yeah.
Oh, they'll hate you now because you not only are you fucking the man already, but you admit that you fucking weak and envious and a 3-incher, and you have this in you, and you're like, I got no shame. Because you're so confident that you could admit that you got this disgusting fucking emotion.
Yes.
This is a real fucking man.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And then the envious person just goes crazy in their mind. Because it's like
can't win shit I'm talking about. Yeah. This is the can't win shit I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Because it's it's like I'm at a place where I don't feel any type of. It's almost. I don't want to say bulletproof, but it's almost like so much work has been done to myself that I don't have any shame around feeling any. I don't feel any deep resentment for somebody having something that I don't. Okay, you're taller than me. You got bigger muscles. Okay, I'm a skinny guy. I'm sure. Okay, fine. Like I say it all the time. I'm short and I'm skinny. You know what I mean? Or your dick's bigger or some shit like nothing that you have is gonna bother me on the level that's deep enough for me to like have this kind of like festering thing. You know what I mean? Like so when I just speak to it, like, hey man, oh man, you know you're 6'5". Oh man, I'm gonna be like I say all the time. Next time in my next life, I'm gonna be 6'5". You know what I'm saying? When I do that, it neutralizes the whole situation, and now this person, they're mad at my confidence. You know what I mean? Because
they're mad at your confidence, and they're also mad at your honesty. They're mad at your resilience. They're mad. They're mad at your ability to change. Yeah, and they're mad at your just sheer audacity in being able to tell people your weakness. Because they could never do that. So are you fucking kidding me?
That part. Yeah. It's because it's almost like when you can admit that you're weak in some area, then it almost makes you strong. If that there's strength in admitting that you're.
That's the whole fucking point of a tree. They fucking in the wind.
Yeah,
they blow in the wind, right? They're strong, but the wind. They don't break because
Yeah, man. Yeah, and I would find sometimes that the way people would. Like I would say manipulate me, they would try to. So what they would do is they'll say, "You're weak. Work harder to get over the weakness." And what I would do is I would just admit that I was weak and I needed help. And then it would be like they're so used to trying to prove they're not weak in some area and not ask for help. Yeah. That when I just say, "Hey man, I'm not good at this. Can you help me?" It's almost like it's almost like people don't even know how to respond to just you admitting that you're weak and you just saying that you're not good at something and then you saying that you need assistance in some type of way. And now it's almost like they don't want to help you because I don't even understand that thing. It's like you don't want to help me. I asked you for help. You tell me that I should You tell me that I'm weak. So then I say, okay, I am weak. And then I say, okay, well, if you told me that I'm weak and I admit I'm weak, well, help me.
Okay, well, there's two things. I think the problem in that one is that the guy does not know how to help you.
Okay, fair enough.
He's weak. He is not strong. So he doesn't fucking have a clue.
Fair enough.
But he doesn't have the ability to say, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm weak, way weaker than you inside. Everything I do is fake. My whole life is fake. You know, I got enough strength to tell you something. How am I going to fucking teach you? You know, wow. You got 10 times more strength than I have. So that's probably that situation. But I've had other guys, similar situations with actually fairly recently where there was a guy that I know envies me. Okay, there's no question about it, right? And like on a kind of a what is that called? Pathological level. You know, I know that. I can tell. I can feel it. Yeah. Now I'm at the point where I can start to feel it. You know, I just like.
And I tell myself a lot of times, it's almost like I try to blind myself from things that I don't want to
yes,
see.
Yes.
I feel it, but it's like, and now it's starting to be to the point where I gotta look at it now.
You gotta look at it, but I think too, like the ignoring thing is good too.
Yeah.
To some point.
Yeah.
It's like just ignore it, because the thing is we all have these, and you know they have these, and by focusing on it, it's almost like it's just going to heat it up. It's better just to kind of let them kind of pretend like you don't see it.
Dumb.
Act dumb.
I play dumb. Like,
I have no idea. Yeah. But I had one recently where there was a guy, right? And I knew that, you know, he was definitely envious of me. And so anyway, I've known he has for years. And he's a nice guy. He's a friend of mine. Like, you know what I mean? I like this guy, you know. Nobody's perfect, right? Fuck it, you know.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
He's got positive points. But the thing is, he doesn't think he has positive points, I think. You know what I mean? Like some level, right? But he does. He has fucking positive points, right? That's why I'm hanging out with the guy. But anyway, so I asked him for help. So like you were saying, you asked for help on how to be strong, right? He didn't know. But this guy, I asked him for help on something that he knew, right? I asked him on something. And so he gave me a very good explanation of what to do in this one situation. And it was great. It was great. But I could sense afterwards that he was pissed off. Because he's like, you have everything I don't have. And now I'm teaching you my one secret. I'm like, and now you're so smart, you're going to use it.
You're going to be that much fucking better now.
Yeah, you're going to do that. Yeah. Because you're the kind of guy that takes action. So you're going to fucking use this now.
Oh,
and my one fucking, you know, I can do this. I can grow celery.
And now I have to watch you take my thing.
And do it better.
And be better at it. Wow.
That's exactly what it was.
Wow.
Oh my God. Wow. Fucking life, you know.
I've never fucking talked about this.
I never heard this talk. I don't even know what we're talking about. But I know we're talking about something big. Yeah. I don't even know what you call this.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody listening is going to be able to label this discussion.
Yeah.
You know.
And I think that's why it's so hard to, when I was saying, beginning back to what we were starting off the episode about, was when I said, I've never been able to resonate with anybody.
Yeah.
It's because I don't even know what this is.
Right.
It's like I don't even know how I would talk to somebody about these things that I deal with, because I don't even know what they are. I don't know. Here's something I'd say. Okay. Usually women I date athletes and very rich people. So there's the rich guy, there's the athlete, and then there's me. Right?
Oh, okay.
And I started to begin to think that, because at first it was, okay, this guy's rich and this guy's tall and this guy's got X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And so why are you with me? Okay, right? And then it started to be a sense of,
that's a very natural feeling.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
I'm trying to figure out, because I'm not him and I'm not him, then what am I? You know, and then what I kind of deduced was that on some level, I feel like there's a level of confidence that comes with having the money or having the body or status or whatever.
Yes.
And
there's like a fake confidence or situational based confidence.
Right. But some type of way, if you tap into that without these things, you're almost as powerful or more powerful than these. So they're responding to a confidence level that is synonymous with the people that have these kind of situational confidence levels. And then...
And it's very fragile.
You're right. So then, because my confidence is not built on these things, it's almost like I had to build myself from the ground up. Right. So you can't take anything away from me because I'm sleeping on the floor already.
Yeah.
And so I what I was trying to say was that it's a certain level of something that you possess when you didn't get it from a situational scenario, and you have some type of essence, you know what I mean? It almost shines through more because it wasn't fabricated almost.
Yes.
And so I feel like having that certain type of thing has led me down the path that's given me certain type of experiences that only a certain type of person would know. You know what I mean? Because you're not being responded to in a certain type of way. It's almost like I'm getting that same response that an athlete or a very rich person gets, but I'm not those people. But I can only those type of people are only going to relate to me because only those type of people have had a certain level of experience.
Okay.
Are you following what I'm saying?
I'm totally following. It's just that I started thinking about different. As you were talking, I was going on branches of trees.
Okay,
so that's why I lost what you were saying, because I was like thinking of a branch of this topic. But yeah, no, I totally get what you're saying. And let me just thoughts that came up. God, so many thoughts came up that I almost forgot them all.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just like listening to you. Say again what exactly.
So basically, I guess the point I'm trying to make is that, what it was that I connected with was just the level of experience.
You did it without confidence.
Yeah.
Without anything.
Yeah.
Yourself is good enough. Right?
Yeah. So a constant thing that I hear in your videos is that you're good enough as yourself.
Right.
Well, if you tap into that and you become good enough as yourself, it almost gives you this power that lends to all of this attractiveness or this gravity that you start to have because you're internally built almost. Because you've accepted yourself on a very deeper level.
Okay, so many ideas came up. I got confused. Okay, women, this is what a lot of guys don't realize, is that women are when it comes to dating and men, they're very intelligent. Sure. Like, they know what the fuck is going on. They know a man, what kind of man you are. This is one of the things, even without words, even without money, they know this is their job. One of their survival, we survived, very harsh situations by having these instincts and these,
Check this out before you say that, because women would say that to me.
What?
I know what you are. And I would be like, I'm not, no. You may not know, but I know what you are. It's how you're moving, it's how you're carrying yourself, it's how you're there. So even though I may not have thought of myself as a certain type of animal, they had classified me they put me in a box, and in that box, you're that guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And even though I didn't think that way, there are things that I'm giving off that they're reading that even on a subconscious level that I may not even.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah. Oh, I totally. And also, other men might not understand, because our job is not to suss out a good man. Our job is to suss out a good woman.
For sure.
So when we look at the women, we can sense a lot of things about them, right? Whereas women, their whole survival historically has been based on, obviously, success in the group, success with men, success with children, all that kind of stuff. So their ability to suss out men is very high. And so they're telling you stuff that you don't know, that other guys don't understand. And so when you're with a lot of women, it's one of the big advantages of having a lot of women is that they tell you things from a woman's perspective about yourself, and that can be extremely valuable because it's stuff that you cannot see. You just don't know.
Yeah.
You just don't know, like, what it is about yourself that is so, like, the women are judging you and looking at you. I give you one situation was very interesting for me. I was in Sumatra in 1989, and there was these two Swedish girls, and they wanted to go to southern Sumatra, which was all Muslim at the time. and that was dangerous. It was not safe. People had knives, and things were going down in this area. It was a poor area. It was nothing to do with being Muslim, but it was just a dangerous part of the island. So everybody would go to the northern half, and they would never go to the southern half, right? So they'd stop at this one town called Bukatingi. They'd all fly into Jakarta, right? And they wanted to go down to the Muslim part, but they knew they needed a man to come with them. So they said, "We want you to come with us. Will you come with us?" And I was like, 2 hot Swedish girls. I'm like, yeah, why not? So, because I wanted to go there anyway. I was going to go there anyway. And then we'll have fun. So we started going down there. Something happened. Long story. A guy cheated me. I'd been cheated many times on this trip around the world. And I just got fucking tired of being cheated. You know what I mean? Like, It wasn't a lot of money. It was $1.25.
It was just the principle.
But it's just the principle. I was just like, it wasn't even smart. But it was like, I was just tired of being cheated. And I just said, fuck you. Basically, fuck you. Give me my money back. And the guy pulled out a knife. Right. So then I was in a bus station, right? And I was surrounded by people, like a lot of people. He pulled out a knife. And I just reacted in ways that kind of surprised me. I was just like, come on, motherfucker. I said, and I didn't even say these words, but I was imagining him stabbing me a couple times. And I was imagining me grabbing the knife and cutting his head off and hearing what it would sound like as it cut parts of his neck and him screaming and stuff. Like I was gonna kill this guy. He was trying to kill me, and I was gonna kill him. That was it. Yeah. He's got a knife. We're in the jungle. Shit's going down. I didn't know who's gonna come from behind. Like if his friends are gonna attack me from behind with a knife. It was very dangerous situation. Don't try this at home, kids. This was an extremely dangerous situation. And it was a very wild part of India. There was no police or anything like that. And so, but it pissed me off. It was unfair. It was like sometimes I'm like Clark Kent, this cannot happen. Yeah. And I go change clothes and go out there and do it. Right? So I'm kind of like that. It's like, this cannot happen. Yeah. This motherfucker cannot cheat people and pull a knife on them. Yes. Fuck this guy. Yes. And so I'm like, I'm like, justice needs to happen here in the jungle, right? And I've got to do it, So I was like, come on, motherfucker, he's trying to stab me, right? And I'm like, I'm fighting the guy, and it happened so fast. I didn't know what happened, but I beat the guy and got the knife out, right? And I won, right? And so didn't get stabbed, right? And so when I left the bus station, somebody turned off the lights. It was all in pitch black. But it wasn't quite pitch black. I could a little bit see the knife moving around. Yeah. And I was fighting this guy in the dark with a knife, and I didn't know who was behind me. It was probably 50 people, 100 people in the place. And I won, right? And so then we went outside, but I was now after I do something like that, I get nervous. Yeah. Then the fear comes, So I'm walking down the street and I'm starting to sweat, and I'm just like, I said to the girls, let's just walk out of town. Let's just get the fuck out of here before anything else happens, right? Yeah. And so then the girls, we just started, we didn't even know where we're going. We're just walking in the jungle. But there is a highway, so maybe we can catch something, right? Yeah. And so we started walking, and then all the kids, I swear, all the kids in the town, I guess they all hated this guy. He was like a bully. And so the kids got behind me, and I'm walking, and there was 100 kids behind me going, they're like, yeah, they're all like, Rambo. Rambo was popular then. And they were all cheering me on, these little kids in the jungle, right? It was the fucking funniest thing you've ever seen. And I was just like, this is hilarious. So in long story, we ended up staying in the jungle at this house with this family, and the girl was 13 and the guy was 14, and they were married. Yeah. And they let us stay in their house. And then they gave us the marital bed, which was freezing cold, and this blanket that was so thin, I was fucking freezing my ass off. And it was me and the two Swedish girls. And as soon as I laid in bed, they started grabbing my dick, Both the girls were they wanted me to fuck them both. And I was so cold, I was trying to turn over and use as much blanket and I was trying to rub against it because I was so fucking cold. You guys don't know how cold the jungle is at night. It's fucking freezing, man. I was freezing my ass off because usually I had a blanket and stuff, right? This was not a blanket. This was like a fucking handkerchief or something, right? Yeah. I'm freezing my ass off. I don't care about fucking these girls at all. I wasn't horny at all. I was and they kept grabbing my dick all night. And the girls, they saw me, something inside of me Like I don't know what I looked like from the outside. I'm just telling you from my side, the story. I don't know what it looked like from the girl's perspective.
Yeah.
But they were just like, I don't know, but it really influenced them, right? And it was amazing for me to see, because I didn't really feel that much. In fact, I felt kind of stupid, because I'm like, why am I doing this over $1.25? Like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, you know, and obviously it's dangerous, but I wasn't really thinking about that. I was just thinking, like, now we don't have a fucking ride.
Yeah.
You know, we're out of the town. Like, I'm just like, maybe I should not do that next time, or, you know, maybe if I would have done this better, or, you know, I was kind of like, this was going on in my mind. Now, what was going on in the girls' mind, they were saying, and now I know, like, they were basically saying, that guy's he's got insane confidence, like, physically.
Yeah.
In any situation. This guy's like, he's Johnny on the spot in any situation, you know. And I am, but I don't feel like I am.
Yeah.
Like right now, I don't want to put this out there like say I'm always on, because it just happens naturally to me. You know, I don't know how fast I moved. I don't know how I moved. I don't know anything about knife fighting. You know, I've had people pull knives on me many times and fought with them, because I don't like when people pull knives on me, you know. But
it goes back to what you always say about.
But I don't feel that way. But no, seriously, I don't feel. Even I'm telling you this story.
Yeah.
Like I feel like a fraud in a way. You know, like I don't feel like the guy who can do this. You know, it just, you know, you're just shaking your head. You're like, yes. Like I don't feel like the guy who did that scene. Like if I watched a movie of myself, if somebody would have taken a video, I would respect that guy. But I don't feel like I'm that guy.
Yes.
It's just like I just do it, and it just happens, and then I'm done. And I still feel like kind of a piece of shit or something.
Yes.
You do know what I'm talking
and
about?
then look, and for them,
yeah,
that's one more thing in their reason why you are that guy, right?
What?
So okay. So for me, I don't feel like I'm that person either. Like, right? Like, so the whole year, 15 years I was in the entertainment business. You the man, you the man, you the man, you the man. Oh man, you know, everybody like, so I never felt like I was the person that they were describing. Like in my mind, I'm like, that's not who I am. I'm scared. These parties are hard. Like I'm fucking terrified. You know what I'm saying? It's like I don't know. Hey, every fucking time I threw an event, every time, 20 years, I probably threw 1,500 events. Every time I'm like, is anybody going to show up? If you're sitting there with me, I'm like, man, I don't know if people are coming this time, man. I think we need to quit it. So every time I'm sitting here, like, I don't know whether or not this is going to happen. Now, mind you, it's packed every time. Every time. So everybody's seat is looking on the outside like, you're never scared. You throw parties all the time. You're this guy. It's always good. I'm terrified of talking to this chick. You know what I mean? I just have this thing in me where I'm gonna. If I'm afraid, I gotta do it. So that's my thing.
I don't even know if that's it. I don't believe you on that part. I think it's just instinctive.
Okay, yeah,
You're going on like you're down in the basement.
Fair enough. Yes.
Center of the earth shit.
Yes.
You're just doing it.
Yes.
Doing
It I'm definitely tapped into my instincts.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so it's pure, but it's not a level of fearlessness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not. Yeah, I'm not afraid. You know what I mean? And so, but the people, they look at it as like, I am like you're fearless or you're X, Y, and Z, and I don't feel that way. But I guess I am, you know what I mean? But I'm not. Like and like how you were saying, I really connect with you feeling like a fraud because it's like I don't want them to believe a lie, you know what I mean? Because I don't feel that way. Is it not true? But if they feel that way, it's true to them. And then when they keep seeing me do these things, so every big party I throw and they see me standing on stage, it's like, oh, you are that guy. Look at you. You know what I mean? Like in their mind, they're not seeing what's happening inside. They're just seeing what they perceive. And now, again, that's one more thing that makes me that guy in their mind. That's what I'm saying. So when these girls look at you and they see you go through this thing, that's reinforcing. It's like, yeah, I knew it. You know what I mean? You are that guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Regardless of whether you think you are or not.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I think that goes back to what you said in the beginning. It's like as being an entrepreneur, people like seeing you as that guy, jealous and everything, and then you don't feel like it, and then you just keep doing it, and then you do something else. It's like the same thing. It's like you ever see John Basilone? Do you know John Basilone? He was one of the heroes at Guadalcanal. Like he was a hero of everything. You gotta fucking watch this guy. It's amazing. But when he he's a war hero, right? A big time, real deal war hero. Okay, and I'll show you a scene. I'll put the scene below. It's one of my favorite scenes.
Okay.
Yeah. But that was when he got the Medal of Honor, and that's when they basically soon after that they said this guy is more valuable selling war bonds than he is fighting,
Sure.
because the guy cannot stop himself. He cannot just be a leader and let other guys go in. He's going in every time first.
Yeah.
And they're like, don't do that because you're gonna get killed. And he's just like yeah. He's like yeah, and he goes in, and then he just if you see the Pacific, great series by the way, and this is his story is a big part of it. Great series. You know, Band of Brothers or not. Was it Band of Brothers a series? That was a series, right?
No, Band of Brothers. I thought
that was a movie, right?
Band of Brothers was the series.
Okay, a series, yeah. So Band of Brothers was the European series of the war, and there was a less known called the Pacific, which I resonated with more because it was in Asia.
Okay.
You know, and I had been to a lot of those places, and I understood Japanese, and I had a different perspective on the Pacific. I loved it, but anyway, he's in that, but like. He gets sent back to sell war bonds, and he's kind of like, well, the country wants me to. He doesn't want to, right? He's like, I want to stay here and fight, but they're like the country. He meets the president and everything, and they're like, we want you to sell war bonds, and like that's your new. Like he's like, no, I want to stay. Like this, if you want to be a hero, this is your new hero role. And so he does it for a while, and he feels like a total fraud because he can't even tell the truth. He can't even really talk. He just says some stupid things, and everybody claps. He hates it. So then he volunteers, he quits, and he volunteers and goes back and he dies in the war. Great scene. Fucking great scene. And it's like, that's a fucking war hero. And I think that is kind of like, that's what we're talking about here. It's not like a war hero is some big thing. This is the way he is. This is the way some guys are. You know what I mean? Like, this is just the way it is. You can say all the shit you want, but some people are just like this. They're just fucking like this. And it's a very complicated way to be. And society always builds them up to these these perfect people, but they're not. They're in some ways very weak and very insecure and very unsure of themselves even after they did it. You know, like I can be afraid of something I did years afterwards. You know, like why was I doing? What was I thinking there? You know, fuck. You know, that was really dangerous. You know, and people will say to me, they'll say. You know, they'll say, you never met a real fighter or something like that. But then I'll meet a real fighter and you know, he'll just disappear. You know, I don't understand who I am. But women do. Sometimes I've had women tell me though, one woman said to me, she said, as she was leaving me, she said, you are the most pure man I ever met.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? What the fuck are you talking about? And I think that this is, for me, like, I didn't know this growing up. I thought I was a piece of shit.
Me too.
Oh, man. I thought it was lower than dirt, man. When I finished college, I had such low self-esteem. I took an interview with Sears, and I went into Sears, and it was me and this other guy. It was only two people for the interview. And I thought it was going to be a talking interview because I was a good salesman, right? And I thought it was like serious, like sales, basically, you know. And they just gave me a math test, and I never even went. I didn't like math. Long story behind that. I naturally had talent in math, but because of something, I just didn't. I refused to study math, so I literally didn't know anything. I just got F's on the same class like 3 or 4 times. I just did not want to study math. I refused to study math, right? So I got this math test. I literally didn't even know one of the questions, right? Mm-hmm. You know. Seriously, so I just waited till the end. I felt real embarrassed. It was me and him, you know, just two guys. And he obviously knew math. He's like doing the calculations, and I'm sitting there just doodling and stuff, trying to not look too stupid. Yeah. And then it finishes, I hand it to him, and the guy just smiled and looks at me. He's like, basically see you later, and I'm just like, I like laughed and I was like, I'm going around the world traveling, fuck this shit. I can't fit into this fucking system. Like, and I'm thinking to myself, what does fucking math have to do with selling shit at Sears? Like, it doesn't have anything to do with it, I can kick ass selling shit at Sears. I know I'm going to sell tons of shit. I'll sell the whole fucking store, but which is what they really wanted. But anyway, they had a dumb system, I thought, and they went bankrupt, so it's not surprising, They just didn't even know what business they were in, But I felt like a piece of shit because of stuff like that, Because I was like, okay, I'll just like basically I'm an idiot and I'm a fool, but I'll just, I'm good at some things, right? I'm good at swimming, right? Yeah. Like I can fucking swim with fucking 10 bowling balls on my leg. You know what I mean? I can I had never tried that, but I could try that. See what happened. I'd have to go underwater for a long time because bowling balls wouldn't be as heavy underwater. Yeah. I probably could do it. Yeah, I probably could do that. I'll try it. Let me get the weight of 10 bowling balls. I'll put it on something. I'll fucking try it. Yeah. Just to see if I can live. Not to swim at the top of the whole time, but just see if I can like make it for 10 minutes or something. Right. But anyway, so like I have certain things I'm good at, and I'm just going to do those things. I don't fit into society, so I'm just going to go off and travel the world, and maybe I'll find something that I can do. Like where I fit in, someplace I fit in. I think that's kind of why I left the U.S. Is I really didn't even. It was so organized here, and everybody had a little license for everything. And there's like I don't know. It was all decided. I just thought I'm gonna go somewhere else and maybe I'll find something I fit into. Yeah. Some more jungle shit. Some more wild shit. Some more fucking base. Some more fucking closer to the earth. Like that's what I was kind of looking for. Something more. You know what I mean? That required more skills or something. I don't know. Like I don't know. I just did. It's like here, people just do one little fucking small thing, right? They got their little fucking license and they do some little fucking bullshit, and then they don't have any broadness to them, Yeah. I always had like more of a broad. I more appreciated the broad. I didn't study any kind of fighting or anything. I don't even know what I do. I don't. I could get killed tomorrow. I don't even know what I'm good at. It just all happens instinctually, right? So I don't fit into society where people ask you to explain yourself, like who are you, like what did you study, what are your licenses, like all this stuff makes no sense. Just throw me out in the fucking jungle or throw me out in a situation, and I'm gonna survive and make it happen. Yeah, like whatever the fuck, no money, no food, whatever. I'm gonna make it happen somehow, and other guys can't do that. So I like being thrown in the jungle. Yeah. I like being thrown in the fucking situation because I know that's where I kind of thrive. Right?
I am what the situation is. So what I was about to say, but to what you're saying is, so for me, that not fitting into one thing made me feel like I wasn't smart, but I knew I was smart, like right, and so my insecurity came from not being able to be what you are. And so I started to like work really hard to enrich myself on every level from this insecurity that because I'm not fitting into this societal thing, now I have to find whatever it is that now I'm searching for what I am. You know what I mean? And so that led me on this path of learning this broader way of things, searching for something to be good at. And then I become knowledgeable of everything. And now it's almost like I'm in the place where I just am wherever I'm at. And then whatever it is that I got to do to survive in that scenario, I just take this broad knowledge of things that I've learned and studied and just kind of form it into this survival mechanism that makes me good at whatever it is I'm pretty much doing at the particular time.
I think the thing is too is there's no need to finish this thing on a solution. This episode, it's okay to leave it like just hanging. Yeah. Not sure what you're going to do next. Not sure what this all means. Yeah. Not sure, that's okay. That's okay. Yeah. Because sometimes it takes time. It takes time to kind of, And I don't know what it means. Everybody always wants an easy answer. You know, like, oh yeah, now I learned this. Now I'm gonna fucking become the president. You know, something like that, right? Real clear.
This is like this big ball of thing that's like coalescing, like the universe coming into existence. It's just chaos, and this it's this kind of thing that's like whirling around,
right?
That's tied together with this gravity, but you don't know what it is yet, right? But it's forming. And it's moving, and it's energy. You know, it's like I'm like just energy. You know what I mean? And my energy is like attracting this world around me. You know what I mean? But I can't tell you where it's going. I can't tell you what it is. I just know what I feel. You know what I mean? And I know that it's powerful. You know what I'm saying? Like the way the universe is. You know what I mean? That power of like the sun pulling stuff to you. And as I kind of move through space, it's like this. It's kind of like with Ronin Man. As you're moving through, things are kind of like, you know, sticking on to you, right? But you don't really know exactly what it's going to be. You just know that if I just keep going, at some point it'll turn into something. I just know that I know something's going to happen. Like I remember you told me, you said, my best years before, like I think my greatest time is ahead of me. It's like that's how I feel. It's like something's coming. I don't know what it is. I feel the energy. I feel a power. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just kind of trusting the power, or I'm trusting that force. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Oh, I know exactly what you're saying.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, I know exactly what you're saying.
And this is something that I've not ever been able to like say out loud, or explain. Because I don't even know what it is that I'm... Yeah,
people will listen to this. Some people will listen to this, and even some people who are listening now would not understand what he just said. And that's totally fine.
Yeah.
But he said something, believe me.
Yeah.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? It's and that has kind of been the theme of my life, where it's like everybody wants to... What is it? What is it? And I'm like, I don't... But they feel it.
Yeah.
They feel it, but they can't really...
But that pisses them off because they're like... Well, what the fuck is it? You know?
Yeah. But they can't deny that it's something, and that it's something powerful. But they want to put it somewhere so that it will make them feel.
And
safe.
So do you inside yourself.
Yeah. Because I want to connect with them, and
well, so you want to be normal. You want to like. Should be able to answer a basic question, right?
Yeah. And so, in me trying to connect with them, I'm trying to fit myself in something that makes me feel some type of way, because it's not something I can fit into some type of container.
Yeah.
I want to put it in a nice, neat little box for you so you can accept me, and then we can be friends and we can live happily ever after and things. Yeah. But I can't do that and be true to myself.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so you want to put me in this little nice little thing that you can feel comfortable with me.
Right.
And you can have your little happy life.
Right. You're going to be a historian. You're going to be a librarian. You're going to be a restaurant franchise owner.
You know what I mean? Even like when so now it's come with my dad. It's kind of like, hey man, if you would just get married and be this person,
right?
You could just make this easy for everybody. But you're still this thing. You know what I'm saying? And you're almost 40. And because he hit me with that. You're 39 years old. You're almost, it's time for you to become something. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like, but I still feel myself growing and becoming bigger and coalescing. What if it doesn't happen until I'm 45, and then at 45 I become Steve Jobs? You know what I'm saying? And then,
well, that's the thing. When you have this attitude, what will happen, and I'm sure you already had this happen many times, but this is the way to kind of calm your own nerves, because you do get worried. You're like, inside it's like, wait a second, is this going to work out this time?
Yeah.
Well, what kind of happens for me is if I trust that, if I allow myself to keep growing in that same sense, you're talking about the planets and shit, just letting it go. What happens is I'll stumble on something, and then just very quickly will succeed in something.
That's how.
It's just like people will be like, "Why didn't you do that before?"
Yeah,
and it's like, I don't know. I never even thought. I didn't even know this. What are you talking about? Like you don't even like. You're not making it's just like, I don't know what it is like.
Walking down the path.
Yeah.
As I walk down the path, like say I set out to go this way, and I don't know. I just walk this way. If I didn't go from here to there, right when I got to the 10th step, I saw something else that was the way to go.
Right.
But I couldn't see it standing here.
Until you got down there, right?
Until I got down there. So all I know is that if I keep going, then the answer comes, and it's something I didn't even think about.
Right.
All I know is that I have to go, and I have to be. And in being, the answer, it's almost like things solve themselves when I don't try to force. It's like my dad, you're trying to force a solution. You know what I'm saying?
And you won't be happy, and you can't do it. Guys like us can't do the things we don't like.
Yeah.
We're not.
I'm not built like that. I'm not built. I can't be something I'm not. Like, I can't tell you something that is not resonate with me. Or I can't.
Your body could, but your spirit couldn't. Your spirit's going to die.
Sure. And then it'll be.
I don't even think you could do it personally, because your spirit couldn't do that. But if you were somehow forced, you could do the job well as an advertising executive or whatever. But you could do it.
Yeah.
But your spirit, the spirit of Shawn, won't be there anymore.
Yeah, I can do it out of a sense that I can do anything I set my mind to. It's that spirit. Like, okay, if I gotta endure something or do something to get to some point, okay, I do it. You know what I mean?
No, but I'm saying is you could do it for the rest of your life, but you wouldn't be you anymore.
No.
So you have to check out.
Yeah, I would be somewhere.
You'd have to let that go into some other thing. And fuck, this is good shit, man. This is fucking good shit.
Yeah.
This is kind of like when I left China, right? I lost this business, and this business was a very good business. We were making very good money. It was a very exciting business. Yeah. We were in the right place at the right time. WeWork ended up buying out all our competitors after I had the business stolen for like huge money. And we could have sold out to WeWork so easy. Like, it was so fucking close. It was so dumb to close the place down and steal it from me. It was the dumbest thing this chick ever did. But anyway, I left there totally broke at 50. And so all the people who said to me my whole life, that you need to focus, it's all those voices, they all come back to me. And also they came back to physically too. They were like, I always knew you were a loser. Like, somebody very close to me said that. And now it's proven. They said, I always knew you were a loser, and now you're 50, and no one changes after 50. So now it's totally proven that you are a loser, like I always thought. That was actually somebody that's supposed to support me in my life told me that. Yeah, like a very important figure in my life. And I remember it was kind of good because it was so mean, and it was so opposite of what they're supposed to do. And so not what do you call it? Acknowledging all the cool things I've done. And guys that do cool things, they do cool things again.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, the chick leaves you. You're not going to go in the forest and kill yourself. Like, you're going to find, it's like, you're just in this moment right now where it's like, it looks dark, right? But the thing is, it was so bad and it was so black and white that it actually was good for me, because that was when I snapped out of it. I realized, holy shit, this person's trying to destroy me. Because I'm like, what have they done? Like, I've done a lot of cool shit in my life. I have friends like fucking for miles. Like, I could pretty much, I bet I could never rent a house again in my life.
For sure.
And just go around the world and live with my friends.
I was fucking
like,
telling my
I
dad
swear.
the same fucking thing. I'm like, he was like, so what are you going to do? I said, bro, I have thousands of people that I know. Yeah. I can fucking go anywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm good. Anywhere I go, all around the world. You know what I mean? Like, I said that to myself because I was telling him I'm going back to Nashville. And he's like, what are you going to do for work? Where are you going to stay? I said, I can literally stay with a person every single night. Every night I can just go from house to house every night. And I can do that for 6, 7, 8 months.
Yeah, and then probably a lot of them are hot chicks too.
And yeah. And look. And here's the other trippy part. Everywhere I went, this is exactly what they would say. Stay as long as you want.
Yeah.
So you don't gotta go, man. You can stay. You can just hang out. Because I got friends. All my friends, they got like big houses. They stay by themselves and shit. So you can stay in this little room. Yeah. I don't even use this room. You can stay right here. Because I'm gonna come in. I'm gonna be helping. I'm gonna watch.
I'll give you a key.
Yeah. So I have a keychain with 30 keys, and I just be going from place to place to place. And I actually almost want to do that because
we have so much in common. It's
yeah,
fucking
man, that's what I'm
hilarious.
trying to tell you, man. When I was listening,
When I go to Japan, I don't even rent a hotel ever.
Fucking man.
Like I'm always staying with friends. They're like, "Hey, you're in town. I saw you on Facebook. Come on over.
Come over here. Come over here. Come over here.
And if you ever need a place one night, just don't be shy. Just fucking, And it's like it's because of things you add to their life, right? It's
right.
It's because of you. It's not perfect. You're not perfect. I'm not perfect. It's not anything like that.
Yeah.
You're just saying the fucking truth.
Yeah, man.
Like this is the truth, and it's not normal.
Yeah.
So whatever it means, it means.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
That's the energy that I was talking about, though.
Yeah.
That's when I was telling you that you don't know what it really is. They don't quite know why. Okay, they can't. Okay, Shawn, I want to be around him because he makes me feel blank. So those words are not going to be said. They just know that it's a good feeling that they get when they're around me.
Dude.
And they like that feeling so much that they want to have that feeling around them. And it's almost like it's no monetary value, but they know it has a lot of value.
Oh God,
you feel me,
dude? What are you talking about? I feel like, listen. I was when I was first in Japan. I worked at this school, right? I got fired for sleeping with all the students. The students are adults. It was an adult school, right? And anyway, I was sleeping with all the students, and so then one day when I was getting off work, there was a bunch of girls that I was sleeping with. Some I weren't. They were all waiting in line, like on the stairs, like to see which one I would take home that night. And one of the other teachers got jealous. He was actually pretty good with girls himself, this British guy, and he was pissed off. This night he was pissed off because it was one particular girl that he really wanted, and he said to her, he says, "Why are you going with him? Like, what is it about him?" He goes, "Does he have like the hugest dick? Does he have like what the fuck? What is it about him?" And then she just smiled, and all the girls are sitting there listening, and then she just goes, "I don't know." She goes, because she told me this later, because I went home with her that night, and she said, "He just makes me feel a certain way." And it was like, it just killed the guy. And it was like, I took her home, and I'd taken the other ones. Oh man, it's like, God, fuck, I don't understand life. Life makes no fucking sense. But nothing is perfect. But revel in who you are. I tell you, when you will find your next thing, whatever the fuck it is, right? And it'll be related to your old stuff because it'll be the same skills and it'll be the same you.
That's what he said. Yeah.
Because I know when I started Ronin Man, I was, I just had the business stolen, and then I had a year in Japan, which was pretty rough because I didn't really have anything going on. I had a friend I used to have a business with, and when that business failed, I lost like $250,000 on this business, and when it failed, there was a bunch of bills to be paid, and they were all in his name because he was the Japanese guy. But they really were my bills
for sure.
And so it was a lot of money.
Yeah,
it was a lot of money, and I was not in a position to want to spend a lot of money. And I could have just easily walked away. Because they were all in his name. And I paid every single bill in cash, in full, for our warehouse, for everything, and he never forgot that. So then when I had the business stolen in China, he said to me, he says, "Look, I got an office." He says, "I don't even use it." He goes, "You can live in there as long as you want. You got free electricity, internet. You can just stay there. Just stay there." So, and I'm like, "Are you, because I had nothing, right? I left China with my ass on fire." And I was supporting another guy who was a friend of mine because I felt like I kind of like, we were kind of sidekicks. And also I just felt like I was kind of like a father-son at the beginning of the relationship. He was much younger than me, and I just wanted this kid to do well. I wanted to support him, so I'm like, I kind of had him on my back, So then I'm like, we went to China. I was back to Japan, and we lived in this place, and so I took him with me, and we both lived in there. And I was sitting there trying to come up with something, and I was working on I have an online course that I teach, right? And I was doing that. But I wasn't getting any satisfaction from it, I mean, I was. What am I saying? I was enjoying it. It just wasn't the full satisfaction of my being, right? Yeah. So I was doing it.
Your whole, maybe all of you wasn't. Yeah. It didn't use all of your.
It was just one part, right?
Yeah.
It was my knowledge of China, my knowledge of a certain industry, consulting people, and it was good and everything. But what was depressing about it for me was, I could never. A lot of the people that would buy the course were not talented enough to really do the thing that needs to be done. You know what I mean? Like they wanted to do something that you can't give them the talent to do it. So there was a few people that could, and there was definitely some people who succeeded, and everybody was happy with it. But I wanted them to really like succeed, like amazing.
At the level that you know you wanted them to succeed at the level that you know is possible with the information that you're giving them.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it usually didn't happen.
Yeah.
So that depressed me, right? So I was like, even though they were happy, and I was thinking, why are you so happy with nothing? You know, like because a lot of people buy it, and they really wouldn't have that much progress, but they were super happy with my course. Yeah. But that wasn't what I was doing the course for. I was doing the course to actually watch them succeed. You know, with the knowledge that you need. I had a very unique knowledge set.
You can get really rich with this, probably.
But I don't. No, because it is long story. Everything has a timeline, and long story. Things change in the country. It was one of these products or consulting. It had a time limit. It had a period where it was hot, and then it went down for reasons totally unrelated to what I was teaching.
Okay.
The opportunity wasn't there.
Yeah.
After a while.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what I was going to do. So then I went to Thailand, and it's just like you right now. And so here's what I did. And I've talked about this before. I got to Thailand, and my only purpose of going to Thailand, I know people go to Thailand for a lot of reasons, but my only purpose was essentially in my mind, I was going to the desert to live in the desert like a monk, like the ancient. There was these. I read this book once. These monks that would go live in the desert for like 30 years to write books and to learn about life by themselves. A totally solitary life. I was going to Thailand to have a solitary life so that I could find my purpose for what I wanted to do. So when I got there, it was easy to get a job, or it was easy to do whatever I needed to do to live a better life, but I didn't want that. So I rented this totally shitty room. It was $145 a month, and it had no windows. And it was inside of a building that a lot of the other people that were there were either students and very poor Thai students, or they were on drugs. So it was like a ghetto of Thailand. Like really, at night I would never open my door because shit was going on outside. So I'd piss in a jug, so I didn't have to open the door or walk down the hallway because there was definitely stuff going on. And I didn't want to be involved in it. In the daytime it was fine, but at night it would get sketchy. You know, inside my building, inside my fucking building, right? So just walking to the bathroom because that bathroom was outside. So I had a piss jug thing, and I just pissed in there. And so, and then in the morning I'd go dump it out, right? So anyway, I had no windows, and I would just sit there by myself in this small room. It was just big, a little bit bigger than my bed. And it was the room was about as big as your bed, a little bit bigger than your bed was, and no window. And it was $145 a month, including electricity and internet. And I just said, I'm going to sit here by myself and figure out what I want to do with my life. You know, I'm not going to put any pressure on myself. You know, I don't have to worry about money. I don't have to worry about, I can just go eat because Thai food on the street is cheap. I'm just going to eat that. I'm going to come back and I'm going to sit here. I'm going to write. I'm going to figure out what I want to do. And I was sitting there and I was writing. And I just wasn't, it was like for a year, you know, I wasn't getting anywhere. Nothing was coming up. So then one day I was over in Lumpini Park, and I was thinking, because I used to want to teach pickup when I was younger. I was going to start because I was like, what are you good at? I'm super good at pickup, right? So I made friends with a lot of pickup artists, right? Because I'm like, I'm good at that. But I didn't want to teach it because I just didn't. I don't think it's the goal in life. It's not something that it's not even something necessarily to be prized. It's just something, you know. It's just something. It's something I could have definitely made a business out of, right? But I didn't want to do it, right? For a lot of reasons, and also now that I met these guys doing it, I didn't want to copy them, their businesses and everything. But I thought it was interesting that they were teaching this because people don't
making money out of it.
And people don't understand pickup because most guys that do pickup, they actually get married.
I heard you say, and I can see that. That makes a lot of sense.
They're just looking for the right woman. Like it's pickup is not what is portrayed in the media. Like a lot of guys, they're just looking for the right woman, and then they want to go through a lot of women to find her, right? Basically, to find the right one, and instead of just being alone and not meeting anybody, right? or just meeting the girl who sits next to him or something, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, I couldn't do that. I didn't want to do that, but I thought, well, what are my skill set? I don't know what the fuck I'm good at. So I walked into the park one day and I thought, well, male jealousy was the first topic. If you watch my first 2 videos,
I remember that.
that's what I was talking about. And it was like, and I realized like my whole life has been setting around being basically unblackmailable. That's like, I don't want anybody to be able to blackmail me. I don't want to blackmail anybody else. No. I don't want to control anybody else. No. But I refuse to be controlled by other people. Right? And so that was my concept. And I also thought most guys are controlled by women. That's what most guys are not controlled by radio waves or, from space. They're not controlled by the Illuminati. They're not controlled by any kind of government. They're usually controlled by a woman. And it's usually really stupid, like really dumb. So I said that's a good topic. Like a lot of men, what I was thinking is a lot of men, they get women and then they don't know what to do with them. And I'm very good at management, like understanding women and then having from there, I'm really good, right? So I thought, well, how can I teach this or what? There's no niche for me. So I went out and I recorded the first Ronin Man episode. You can go back and listen to it. And I just thought of, all the things, the ideas. And that was when I was kind of like just thinking. I made the first episode. And then the second episode was kind of the same as the first episode. Yeah. And then I thought to myself, okay, I'm out of ideas. This is the end of Ronin Man. I bought RoninMan.com though, which was amazing because that was somebody had owned that for years.
Yeah.
They let it expire and I bought it. Yeah. And so then I had RoninMan.com. I had 2 videos that I thought basically were the same thing. Yeah. I don't know. You can listen to them. You can tell me everything. Yeah. And I kind of just thought, well, it's kind of the same topic. And I don't have any more ideas. This is it, So I was done with Ronin Man. Ronin Man was finished. I had found my purpose, and it was 1 video and another copy. Yeah. So then this friend of mine, this Jewish friend of mine, he's 21, Devere. He's like, what is that fucking video you had? He goes, I listened to that video. He goes, that was fucking good. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, oh, I got so many questions. I want you to be my mentor. I want you to teach me. Like, he's like, and he was very good with women himself. Like, so, this guy was very good at pickup, And so I was like, what do you want to learn from me, Because the guy's good looking, tall. He's like 6'4", whatever. Handsome fucking guy. And very good at pickup. And I was thinking, what do you want to learn from me, I'm like old and, like, what the fuck you want? And then he's like, everything, man. He's like, I'm like, what? Like, and so then he started interviewing me in the original episodes. He would ask me questions. Okay. Yeah, he kind of answered me questions about stuff. And then I would answer, and I was surprised at how much he was into it. Yeah. And then my friend Dimi in Germany, he started to fly to Thailand to meet me. Yeah. Right? And he would just sit there, and we would be there for a week or whatever. And then one day I called him, and he said, I would just like to just sit next to you all day and listen to you spew wisdom. And I was like, Dimi's a cool fucking guy. Yeah. Oh, dude, this guy's a musician. Yeah. He's an artist. He's fucking handsome. He was a boxer, like a good boxer. You know what I mean? He's not like sitting in a boxing room. This guy's a fucking force, right?
Well, because when you want to be the
beefy
best,
fuck.
You want to be around the best, and you want to hear from.
I don't know, but anyway, like for him to say this to me, and he's real smart too. Yeah. Like he's funny. He's fucking very personable. Yeah. I interviewed him in one of the episodes. Yeah. Yeah, and like he's just a cool guy, and like I was kind of amazed that he was so like wanting to hear me. I was like. So this is all part of the story of finding myself, right? Yeah. So it started with sitting in that room, right? And then it became 2 videos I didn't have any faith in, and one was a copy of the other, and then me forgetting it, and then some friend coming up to me and saying, I want to know more from you, and then I'm like, yeah, but he's young, blah blah, and then Dimi called me from Germany saying, I just want to listen to you all day, like he just record everything and just put it online, and I was like. That suddenly clicked to me. I'm like, if a guy like Dimi wants to hear my stories more, there must be more guys like that want to hear my stories. They want to hear what I learned. They want to hear my take on things. They want to, whatever it is that I do. Whatever, like you say, it's like there's no words for it. Whatever it is that I do, he wants to hear more of that. And I'm like, wow. And that was when I took it seriously. I was like, okay, I'm going to do this Ronin Man thing seriously.
Yeah.
And then it started to, then people started, more people came, and then now we're doing events, and we're going all over the place, and like guys are changing their lives, and and also I'm attracting guys like you that we have so much in common.
Yeah.
You know, you got to meet Justin in New York. There's another guy you're definitely going to click with.
Yeah.
And it's like there's certain guys, like people are attracted to this channel for different reasons.
Yeah.
There's different kind of guys that get attracted to this channel.
Yeah.
Some guys are there's definitely a autistic crowd that's interested in my channel.
Yeah.
I think there might even be part of me that's a little bit autistic or something.
Yeah. How do you define it? Autistic?
Well, they always say they're autistic, like they've been diagnosed as autistic.
Well,
you know.
So half the time, a lot of the viewers are joking about being autists because they're very particular about things, which is similar to people who do have.
No, but some people were diagnosed as on the spectrum, right?
We had someone. Did we have someone recently? There's several. You know, I don't want to say their names or anything, but there's been several guys. So not that I could think of, but like right off the top of my head. But yeah, there have been several guys who have diagnosed with autism, and I think that they're just more likely to pick up or identify tendencies or something.
Well, I don't know what it is. I'm not trying to figure it out.
Or distinguish confusing things. They have an innate ability to distinguish confusing things. And I think that's why we're in the business of distinguishing things and creating clarity.
Yeah.
And that's the clarity that they have. So we might actually appeal to that audience.
That's interesting because when I took a logic class. Did I ever talk about this? I had a logic class. And I've always been told I was very logical. So I went to the teacher and I said, look, I'm real logical, so I don't want to take this class. Like, I don't think I need this class. I'm very logical. And the lady laughed, and she's like, well, maybe, but you got to prove it in class. You know, you got to take the class. So I was like, oh, okay. So I took the class, and I got the highest score in the history of the school. I never even read the book. Yeah. And it was big classes. It was those freshman classes, like 500 people. And so, like, logic was, like, super easy for me. I can easily see how things go. Logic and macroeconomics are very similar. Like, you can see trends and where things are going, right? Yeah. So those two, right?
Fuck, man.
So maybe that is the thing that the autistic spectrum guys, they're seeing, like, there's something that there's some connection. Maybe they have that kind of. I'm guessing when you were talking there, John, I was just thinking like that might be the connection. Is that logic? I'm guessing that's what it is.
Associating autism with the ability to see.
I think
patterns?
It's patterns,
especially categorizing things. And also, I just want to say, like, it's really healthy to have self-doubt of yourself or be suspicious of who you are as a person or think introspectively. Like, you said,
well, it's not about being healthy. It's just there.
Yeah.
It's whatever the fuck. I can't stop it.
Yeah, maybe I have autism. Or sometimes people, like a lot of times going on right now, people are like, oh, maybe I'm infected with the virus or whatever. So it's like, you could get in your head about it, but it's also pretty healthy.
Oh, no. What I'm saying is not that. I'm not saying. What I'm saying is, like, there's different types of groups that are attracted to Ronin Man. Yeah. So, like, for example, it's very interesting to me that like on the autistic spectrum would be one of the small groups that's attracted. But then there's another small group, which is like Shawn. And it's like, this is a guy who's very similar to me. Yeah. In almost anything we talk about, we're going to like be like, yes, that fucking thing, that fucking time. That's what it was. Like we just like, either he's telling me or I'm telling him. Like I felt the same way with Justin. It was like, no matter what we talked about, it was just like, he'd say, I had this weird situation and this happened like this. What do you think it was? And I'd be like, it was this. And he's like, fuck, that was it. What the fuck? He's like, yes, underneath it all went, we have the same experiences. Sometimes we cognitively know them, sometimes we don't, but we emotionally know that the answer we get from everybody else is not right. So we're looking for it. We're searching for the answer to why that happened, why we reacted this way. And then there's other guys that come to the channel that are like really searchers. There's other guys who are bored and they really want to try they want more excitement in their life. There are guys who are trying to change themselves. So there's guys, I don't want to exaggerate any one of these groups, because there's like guys who are overweight, who are like, they know that no one else has been able to help them, and they listen to my channel, they lose 50 pounds. Yeah, so there's those guys out there, and they'll send me emails and pictures and everything, and I'm like, how did I help you lose 50 pounds? And they're like, I don't know, but just listening to you, somehow I was able to finally, it clicked in me, So there's all these different guys who kind of come to the meetup. So when you come to a meetup or a summit, it's kind of like, it's a mixed bag of guys.
Yeah.
And it's a mixed bag of stuff. And it's always interesting to see how everybody relates, to each other, because, you know what I mean? Like it's very interesting, and everybody's very different, but you don't see it in the way people look.
Yeah.
It's not a look thing. It's like, it even takes time to kind of see, okay, it's like I see, oh, I see why he's here. Oh, I see why he's here.
Yeah.
It takes me a while. I'm like, oh, I see why.
Yeah.
I see the connection, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, so it takes a while to kind of see, and then when we get like a network of spider web of people, right? When we're all together, right? The spider web's connecting everybody, and then it starts. Like I see. I don't know if this is a really interesting thing, but I think all of us share kind of all of the things in a way. In a way,
intellectually,
we somehow can relate.
Yeah.
Even if it's like the most like socially acceptable guy can kind of relate to these social
different guys at some point.
Oh, okay.
I've been the not cool guy sometimes. I've been the hurt guy. I've been the popular guy. I've been so many different types of guys.
Yeah.
Now, the core of me is similar, but I can resonate with being hurt in a relationship.
Right.
I can resonate with
right.
Because I've had so many types of experiences. That's where I connect. It's like I have a very big range of things that I've lived through, so I connect with that with you personally on that level, because you have that same range of personality.
Yeah, you're like Freddie Mercury. They can go all the way down, sing all the way down, sing all the way up. For whatever it is necessary.
Yes, and that's what keeps. That's that kind of flexibility that I have, because I know what it's like to be. I can empathize with you. I know what it's like to be in the hospital. Like my homeboy was in the hospital.
Yeah.
I know what it's like to be sick. I know what it's like to be extremely healthy. I know what it's like to be poor. I know what it's like to be rich.
And well, the other thing too is like Gia. Gia was interesting.
Yeah.
Gia was a woman, and she's an astrophysicist, and she's written a lot of books. Mm-hmm. And she was on a couple episodes ago, but I didn't really introduce her as who she really is. Mm-hmm. We just did an off the cuff like this, no introduction. We just talked about an idea, because to me, it's not about who you are. Yeah. It's about the idea. Yeah. It's about what you can bring to the idea. Yeah. So somebody could be very maybe well known or whatever, but all they want to we're just here to talk about ideas.
Yeah, man.
Not to brag about shit. It's like we're all here to fucking, this idea, I want to know, I want to understand, I want to bring, I want to, and like Gia was funny, because when we went to her house, like it was really interesting to see a woman, because we didn't even know it was going to be a woman.
Yeah.
And we got to the house, and then we're like, whoa. And then we realized like, she's like a true genius. She's got like an AI company, and it wasn't like some kind of bullshit. Like she can tear apart. I wanted to get her on and just have her tear apart everybody. And when you finally hear her, you're going to be like, oh my God, this woman is the real deal. Like a true genius, like a fucking absolute fucking genius, right? Who also has the studied part and can combine the two, the total, the knowledge of programming and academia and all that stuff can bring it all together. Now, socially, no. But as far as this other stuff, she's on a level, she's very attracted to it. And I think she's attracted. I asked her why she's attracted to Ronin Man, and she said, it was interesting when she said, she goes, you just go straight for the thing. Yeah. And I think her mind is like that. Yeah. It's like just straight for it.
Yeah.
It's right there. Just go straight for it.
Yes.
And I was like,
no, yes. Cut the bullshit. Go right to what it is.
I don't even see the other things. Like it's not even cutting the bullshit.
Exactly.
You're just like, oh, there it is, right here. Oh, here it is.
Yes, man.
Yeah.
That's some real deep shit you just said, because I think that's what it is with me, with people. It's like, there's this, I gotta overcome the fear, or I gotta overcome a lot of things. I'm not even I only see what I want, and then I just go. You know what I mean? It's not a. It's very linear. It's like, okay, I want this. Why can't I have that? So I'm not even thinking about like, can I get it or can I not get it? Whereas a lot of people have to stop and wonder, is this possible? It's like, oh no, okay, that's what I want. How do I figure out how to do it? Okay, I gotta read this. I gotta go there. I gotta meet this person. Okay. So it's more of a, what do I want?
But even if you don't even really want it, you're like that. Like you said, like when you wanted to make your dad happy, you just went and got a job and then became the president.
You
didn't even want it, but you're just like, if I'm going to get a job, I may as well become the president.
Yeah. It's like, I don't, it's not an obstacle. You know, I don't see obstacles.
You didn't even want to be the president, but you're like, okay, if I'm going to have a fucking job, I may as well have the best job.
Have the best job. And that's how I think with chicks. Okay, if I'm going to get a chick, I'm going to go get the best chick. So if we walking around and we go, like, I'm looking for, okay, who's the baddest chick in here? Okay, I'm going to go talk to you. You know what I'm saying? You have to find the chick. I can just talk to you and be done for it. So most of the time when I go out, I go in, I find the baddest chick, I talk to her, and I go home. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because it's like...
I think very differently about my type of chick, though. Yeah. Like, I'm very, very different.
No, that's what I mean. The baddest chick to me.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? The most attractive, because at this point...
Gotcha.
At this point...
No, but some guys, they actually want the baddest chick as far as everybody
But that's
else.
so relative. You know what I mean? That's very relative.
Oh, I know.
You know what I'm saying? It's because what is bad to me... may not like.
I wasn't sure what you were saying.
Yeah. Like we was in the place, and it was like, okay, Ronin likes this type of girl. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I might be looking at this type, and then sometimes I like to have binges. So sometimes I might be in the big girls right now. And sometimes it's like I'm feeling skinnier. You know, it's just kind of how I'm feeling. But the point I'm trying to make is that, you know, how she was saying you go straight at things. It's like I identify with that because it's just I'm just going for what I want. You know what I'm saying? And I think with a lot of people, they don't go for what they want and then they're unhappy with what they get, but they go for the not best thing. Right.
They're like, I want this, but I can't get this, so I'll go for that. And that's a totally different fucking thing.
Yeah, that's not really what you want.
No.
Why don't you figure out how to get what it is that you really want?
Right.
And then that's where a lot of satisfaction comes, because it's like you went and you had to go and think about, what do I want? Because I know I can get anything.
I thought, what am I good at that I'm going to enjoy?
Yeah.
That I can really provide value. That every day I wake up and I can be into this thing. Not just for a month, but like for the rest of my life.
That's thinking about what you really want.
Okay.
To me, you know,
it's something I enjoy. You know, it's something that, and there's deep in here, and there's like deep need, and it's like I enjoy it, and this thing can keep going, right?
Yeah.
Because I'd like to build this into a movement, like whatever words you use. Yeah. Like I think there's a lot of men who need help.
No, for sure.
You know, and it's like these motherfuckers are out there not getting any fucking help.
No, for sure.
So I don't know I don't know where this will go. I know where it is now. Yeah. I don't know where it will go, but I know that I love it.
Yeah.
And I know that it's I think one of the things people come to, I think, is that I'm very social.
Yeah.
So I think some people, they want to learn. Now you're very social, but like some guys, they want to learn to be more social.
For sure.
Yeah, they like, maybe they have a lot of money and they're like, yeah, but I don't understand how to have friends and things like that. So I get those kind of guys coming in too. Yeah. They want to learn. They're very good at certain things. Yeah. And they're not good at other things. Well, we had this just recently. A guy who was straight A's from kindergarten to university, you know, never got 1B, right? And very smart, bought a house cheap, you know, it makes good money. You know, he just stays in shape, but not socially.
Yeah.
You know, doesn't understand the value of socialness.
I think being social is
you know,
the key to
right. Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think that's what he's like, yeah, I want to learn to be more social and understand why people act. Like, he doesn't understand why people even do things. Like, he doesn't understand when people don't like him.
No social intelligence.
Yeah, he doesn't have that.
Yeah.
But he wants that.
Yeah.
And so he comes like looking for ways that he can learn that. So that's another reason why a different crowd, like, and for me, like, teaching that is very enjoyable, because I think social stuff is super important.
I think,
and most MGTOW guys don't understand how important social is to your mental health and even your physical health.
I think that's what it is about you. Maybe it's the social intelligence that, like, you help me strengthen my social intelligence muscle. You know what I'm saying? Because from dealing with women to dealing in business to dealing, it's all about social intelligence. It's all about interacting with people.
Yesterday was classic for that, right?
You know what I'm saying?
We were such a knick-knack group of fucking guys there, you know?
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
man. You know what I mean?
And it was like
we kind of like,
and the place we went to, right? It was like has a history and shit. And here we are, all of us together, like, and it was just like it was trippy to watch you guys get along and everybody like grooving with my friend from Japan, and it was just like it was very interesting to see the interactions that I saw you
all the things fade away,
and him.
It's like you're just a guy,
right,
you know, and everybody gets to talk about the experience,
right.
Their particular.
None of us had been there before. We didn't know anything about history or shit, you know. And we don't know about each other, but it's like,
everybody, four different ethnicities. I keep saying you're Japanese. You know, four different ethnicities. We all came together, different views and perspectives. Yeah, we talked about race.
Korean, Puerto
even
Rican,
in the car ride back
black,
here.
Finnish. What would you call yourself?
I guess black, African American.
Do you like that word, or which word do you like the best?
African American.
I don't
black.
Black.
Yes. Yes.
I don't I like Finnish.
Yeah.
Their Finnish background, you know.
Okay.
Because it more describes the Finnish people are very different.
Because the
Finnish language has no connection to any European language.
See, that's why I say black. I haven't been to Africa.
Oh,
so it's kind of like.
But you're gonna go.
Yeah. So I can't say African because I'm from America. You
know and you have an African girlfriend before. Yeah. So that made you think about that, right?
Yeah. It was because it was very distinct. African.
Now here's the thing. We're going to end here, but this discussion right here and discussions we had yesterday is another big reason why people come. Because it's the ability to talk about things that other groups cannot talk about.
Man. Without feeling attacked.
And actually to get somewhere. Yes, to get understanding of very fucking controversial topics.
Yes, man.
Like the topics that come up in a summit on the side when we're out walking and stuff, you're just like looking at it, you're like, I never even hear discussions with different points of view and different backgrounds of these discussions anywhere.
No.
And these are like, there is a goodwill.
No.
There is a fucking goodwill of the guys.
Yeah.
You know, like it really is deep too.
Yeah.
Like there's a goodwill. And it starts that way and it ends that way. Yeah. And like actually people can listen to each other and hear each other out. And it's like, that's very interesting. Yeah. And it also, because people are so unique and have so many different backgrounds, that the ideas that you hear, you never heard anywhere else. Like, did you hear a lot of those ideas about Japan and all that shit like yesterday?
I'm listening to y'all, and there's so much diversity just within Asian. Yeah. Like, right? I feel that same way as like black people. There's so much diversity amongst. I would get attacked more for my views by black people than you would get attacked as a white person saying the views. It's
no,
true.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? I can't even discuss certain things with black people that I was discussing with you all.
And then think about Facebook.
Yeah.
Think about everybody on Facebook. They can't even fucking talk about masks.
No, yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like fucking masks. Like, you know, last month it was. Oh my God! Last month it was washing hands. Now you can't talk about masks. Like you can't if you say anything about masks or last month washing hands, you were making a fucking statement that was going to be black and white one way or the other. You know, man. You couldn't. You know,
and because you can't have those conversations, things don't really move forward, or things they're not real deep understanding.
This might be the biggest benefit. Actually, is the ability to talk about stuff and the ability to learn. Because scientists can talk about things. Scientists are not afraid of saying, I think gravity is an electrical, you know, and I think gravity, and then they go on to their, you know, they get the funding and they do the research and they find out, oh, it wasn't, you know. You know, real scientists. One of my friends he wrote a master's degree in Sweden on a scientific topic, and I asked him how did it go because he's a real fucking smart guy. We studied Chinese together, real fucking smart. And when it got done, I called him in Sweden. I said, how did that go? You know, like, are you going to change the world? You know, like, I thought this guy's so fucking smart. He's like incredibly smart. And he's like, he starts laughing at himself. He's just laughing. He goes, it was all a joke. He goes, my theory was completely wrong in the end. He says, but he got an A because the thing is about a good scientific school is they're not looking for you to change the world. They're looking for you to become a scientist.
Yeah.
And a scientist is a certain type of person who makes a theory, a credible theory, and then goes on a rampage to prove if or not this is true. Not to prove it is true. He's in the search for truth that will destroy himself.
Yes.
Man. The whole point is to look like an idiot in science. Because 99% of the time you're going to look like an idiot.
That's how you get to the answer.
That's how you finally somebody gets the answer.
Yes, man.
One fucking person has a different theory, and it just sometimes a different generation, and then it finally you're right. It finally like it ends, and then finally maybe from another country or another culture, 200 years later, finally the truth comes out, right? Because those people were too stubborn to do it, but eventually science figures it out.
Yeah.
And I think that's the spirit that we bring our lives to as men.
Yeah.
I really think this is the spirit of the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's like no matter what, I'm willing to take some fucking hits on the chin for being an idiot, for being wrong, for saying things wrong in the video, whatever. For going in deep. I don't want to deal with people who are like. Some people will hear that and they'll be like, "You're wrong about this." It's like that's not what we do. No. That's not what we do at the summit.
Yeah.
Like we're not we're like it's a different thing.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say what it is because I kind of said it already.
Yeah.
Without saying it, but it's a different thing.
Yeah.
It's a different thing, and think about it. What I'm talking about, it's a different thing. Yeah. It's a search for truth, right?
Yeah.
And it's a respect, and it's a learning, and it's a sharing, and it's whatever the fuck it is. So I'm gonna end now because time's like you guys have been talking too long.
Well, I gotta talk about.
Oh, okay.
Plans for where we're gonna be.
All right.
Yeah. So
we're in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah, we're in Atlanta, Georgia now, and we are going to be leaving on the 1st, which is this coming Wednesday. And we are going to be in the Ozarks from the 2nd through the 7th.
Centerton is the city. Centerton, Arkansas, right?
Yeah, northwestmost corner near Fayetteville. And we're going to be leaving on the 7th and staying for I don't know how many nights.
I think we're the 7th, whatever nights.
Yeah. Well, we're going to be camping. It's going to be our first camping leg. Or short stint, I guess, of the entire tour, and it's going to be at a private property.
We're going to do that, but I only want people to come to the camp if they come to the summit.
Oh yeah,
because it's my friend's land, right? So yeah, we got to know you first, So if you come to the summit, after the summit, this is a new announcement for you guys. There's going to be a friend of friend has some land. It's supposed to be very, very special land. One of the largest springs in the world, right? Natural springs.
And it's on private land.
It's on private land, and we're going to camp there. We're going to camp there for a couple nights after the 7th. So probably on the 7th and 8th and maybe 9th, around that time. And then we're going to go to Memphis, right?
Yeah. Then we're heading to Memphis, Tennessee. I think the campground is also in Tennessee. Or yeah, it's between where we're going to be in Arkansas and Memphis. So that's it's like a bonus.
I think it's closer to Memphis.
You go to the summit, you go to the after party. Yeah, so we have the summit after party at the spring.
Adventure.
And we're finally going to see good stars because this whole trip I've been asking to see stars. I want to see good stars. Chime Time wants stars.
There's going to be fucking stars.
And then Memphis is going to be awesome. We're going to have barbecue, and we're going to be there X amount of days. We're going to have, we might have like a little bit of a slowdown because Ray and I want to take a little bit of a break. So
Ray's got to do something. You got to do something. Right?
Yeah. So Ronin Man's going to be running for a hot second, and then that's some point is where we're going to hit Tampa, Florida, from Memphis straight down to.
Maybe
Tampa.
I'll go to Steve's with Steve in his car. I'll go to Steve's on the beach in Florida, in northern. Then maybe we can meet somewhere around there or something. We'll see.
Yeah.
But yeah, that might be a good because Steve's coming to the summit, and he'll probably come camping with us. Mm-hmm. So maybe we could do something like that.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not sure about the timing with Memphis, but we'll figure that out.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's all. That's it for Chime Time.
All right. Hey, thanks, man.
Hey, man. Yeah, what? Yeah.
Yeah.